Hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots, Toyota. Hey, Alex, let's go places.
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Oh, they gotta play Malik. They gotta play Malik. Well, he's a Raven now. So.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
The anger, the vitriol.
He's a little booable.
Effort-based.
He's booable.
But I also
said a word.
Come
Come on,
on,
kids, let's boo him.
I don't think I've ever actively booed at a sporting event.
Boo
But
this man.
They are playing for jobs
No,
in the NFL.
don't bring logic to the argument.
So why would the Chargers do that?
Well, details. Ev.
I don't want to say it because we're in mixed company.
Cojones.
Look at the courage that they have to do that, you know.
Testicular fortitude.
Somebody actually had the nerve to say they weren't a Taylor Swift fan.
I know.
That takes balls.
We
I'll
are-
say it right now.
Hey, Mike,
Hey, what?
there you go. Bill apologist again.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
That's
dude.
Deuce.
I'm sorry, he's the greatest head coach of all time. I'm not just going to fire him for one bad season, okay? What are you going to go get some offensive coordinator who's never won a game in their life? No, thank you. I'm going to stick with Bill Belichick. There's so much parity in the league this year. We're so close, Eldred. We're going to take him one more year. 71 years old, 72. Let's go.
You made Eldred laugh.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It's Wednesday here at Gillette Stadium, getting ready for the Kansas City Chiefs. But there's a lot of things we need to talk about. These reports and quotes. I don't know. But we'll discuss everything that's circulating around the New England Patriots today. But we'll start with the Chiefs. Game coming up. I think the Chiefs look vulnerable. You know, question is, how do they bounce back? It's Deuce. It's Alex.
Woohoo.
Hi, Alex.
Wednesday, Alex.
It's Evan. It's Paul. Myself. It's Matt in the booth. We're here for 2 hours to talk Patriots, as we always do, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday here on the Patriots Radio Network. Is that what we call it now?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I was thinking that today, you know, this is an aside.
Good.
But I have a long commute. You know, I
You do.
spend about an hour in the car in the morning. So, you know, it's important to me to have good radio content. There's not enough of it.
No. Oh.
I was thinking, man, we should just start our own radio station and just do it better than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, not just Patriots, but like everything.
Like a morning show with Evan from like 5 a.m. to 8
No,
a.m.
no disrespect, Evan, but no.
Wow. Wow.
I was taking a shot that Evan struggles to get here in the morning, so 5 a.m. for him would be pretty deadly.
I'm a 2 to 6 or 6 to 10 type
like-
of guy for sure.
We're like, Bill Belichick will break down film with you, Evan. It's 5:30 a.m. now, and he'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna sleep
Can we
in."
start a little early?
Can I break it down with the next head coach of the Patriots, or does it have to be?
Oh,
Wow.
reports.
You know something?
Boom.
Tom Curran over here?
Wow.
No.
Ah.
So do we actually hear Tom Curran?
I heard
say-
it. I watched it.
Okay, because he hasn't said anything since
Yeah.
it's got aggregated, and
I just don't know why he
find
didn't
that
wait it. Why didn't he write
Well,
it?
that's
Like,
the
you
thing.
should have wrote it. You're
I-
going to get missing off
I
his
watched
traffic.
it.
All the clicks.
I wa-
know.
yeah, and
I
Tom-
already talked to Fred about this,
Yeah.
and I agree with him.
And
so I'll
Tom,
let him
Tom's very
go.
good,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
when he speaks, definitively
From an
with
informed
knowledge.
place. Yep.
Yep.
But it didn't seem to me he was filing a report on NBC Sports Boston. It
Yeah.
was like conversations he's had and his best guess.
So we got doved.
And like something that he feels is probably true.
Yeah.
But like you said, Deuce, if you're going to report that, you write it. You write it. You
Yeah.
don't, as one of a panelist on, the whatever they call that show. You don't say it there and mean to have it as a report.
Right.
You know.
And you would say it stronger than,
Yeah.
not based on, you would report. Like,
Yeah.
this is what.
Sources are telling me
Yeah.
that they made a decision and that's it.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up, because he kind of got doved, right?
Yeah.
Like a little bit, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's everywhere. And I listened back to, because it's on, their clip is on YouTube, you can find it, and it's like what Paul is saying. He says it, but it's not. I don't think that was meant to be like like you said, file it to NBC Sports Boston,
Right.
Bill Belichick.
And he
done.
also ended it with saying, now could he win 4 games at the end and would that quell it? I don't think so. But why do you even mention that if now you know what's going to happen?
Right.
So
Yeah. So, I mean, I do think there's part of that is like the times that we're in, everybody's starved for information, and you take it a little bit, and the aggregation stuff to me is kind of
brutal.
Right. Well, he's kind of the gatekeeper for this stuff, and now it's caught on like wildfire because he chose to highlight it.
That's why you have to be so tight with what you're saying and kind of think 10 steps in advance, because all season someone's gonna get Dov Kleiman.
And that's
Tell
what.
me
But
about it.
like, it's happened.
He's become a verb.
No, but he's just one, and I don't even know which ones of those guys are actually real people. But the aggregation that happens, it all comes with like a banner report or breaking news. And when you're and it's happened to me too, like when you're on a show and you're just talking and you're saying things that you think might happen, like a couple of weeks ago when they asked me if where do you think Belichick will be next year if he moves on, and I said, well, I don't have any information on this, but I just think Dallas would make a lot of sense because of the obvious reasons, and that became a report.
Yeah.
I'm reporting that he's going to Dallas. I'm like, I did no such thing.
Right.
And I don't feel like it's not necessarily the problem of people trying to be, because there is that, right? Guys trying to make a name for themselves and, I'm a big tough guy. I'm going to go out and, throw hot takes all over the place. I don't think that's the problem. The problem is people can't really understand when someone's talking and giving you an opinion or, sort of.
It's like media literacy.
Yeah.
As someone
it's not
who,
that hard.
Like, having used to be an aggregation monkey, I used to call my old job, like,
aggregation monkey.
Yeah. Like,
now,
that's
did
what
you
it
lead the
feels
picks
like,
contest when you did that too?
No.
Oh.
She just flung poop at the wall and whatever one it was.
No, but you're literally trained SEO, how to write a headline that's going to get clicked on.
Right.
I've been told, like, hey, if you can spark a little outrage or controversy in a headline, you do it, because that's what gets you clicks. That's how SEO worked.
Yep.
If everyone understood, like, had that media literacy, if everyone understood how those, like, media outlets literally pay the bills through clicks, you can break it down and you can take everything with a grain of salt. But unfortunately, that's just not how our media landscape is today.
And we used to wait for the morning paper. There's no waiting anymore. No. It's I want my news right now. And is it Nesson that you used to? Yeah, Nesson was notorious for those headlines that.
And it's like if you can take Tommy Curran's whole soliloquy and break that into 3 different stories.
Oh my
great.
gosh! Well, that was like Evan. You said that they wanted you to write like 50 pieces a
10
day.
things a day.
And I have to be honest with you.
Average 8 to 10 stories a shift.
I could count on one hand the amount of times I've clicked on a Nesson link. In 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't do it just for that reason.
Well,
but you understand.
Even today, this is a lot more mild, but I don't know if it was Karen or somebody was talking about Pioli, Pioli was talking about why Ernie Adams should be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I might get a lot of, really cool stuff from the headline. Wow, I'm going to get some inside stuff of what Ernie really did here. I mean, it might have been 3 paragraphs at the most, the story, and I learned nothing.
But you clicked.
But I clicked.
But you also know more than most people.
That's
why you did. That's why you didn't.
No,
listen.
true.
I don't know and I feel I still don't know everything that Ernie Adams did
I don't
after
think
reading
anybody
that.
knows. But I think the bigger thing too is like with people like Dov and all these other like X bots that I call them that are on Twitter. Like, it's 2 things. One, it's the dopamine rush of getting likes and getting retweets from the things you tweet out, and 2, Twitter is now monetizing these accounts like through Twitter Premium. So people that are running these accounts that are getting these like tens of thousands of impressions off these tweets, now all of a sudden they're making money off of it on top of that. So a lot of these people that are they're all over the place, like ML Football and all these other like aggregators.
Yeah, like that's not how they're paying the bills. It's
TPC.
They're getting. Not only are they probably sitting at home like, oh, I got like 10,000 likes on this tweet, but they're also getting literally paid to draw attention to themselves.
And there's no oversight for them. They just do whatever you can do to get the clicks and to make that money.
So you get the bold, like Paul was saying, breaking news, like so-and-so says that Bill Belichick's done after the year, and then that tweet blows up, and now all of a sudden they're happy.
That's why I was kind of waiting for maybe just some kind of Tommy Curran clarification, because it did seem a little bit weird to me. Like, I instantly went and tried to find, like, well, he must have wrote it. Like, this, I was looking for him to write something, but now I'm kind of, I guess I'm more on the fence now. But originally, like, driving in this morning, I was like, what's the response from the other side going to be? There's going to be some kind of, not necessarily, oh, Bill's got a 2-year contract or something like that, but there's going to be some kind of pushback from the other side of why that might not be
I did
the
wonder
case.
if Tom would maybe walk it back a little bit, because he's got a couple of spots on EEI that he does.
Well, I along the same lines, I was listening to the broadcast at Pittsburgh, and Al Michaels was on there, and I think late third quarter or something, there was that time where he said, okay, we're going to address the situation with Belichick.
It's a good piece.
And the thing he said to me, he said two things to me that really stuck out. One, according to him, it's definitive that the contract is up after next year.
Yep.
The second thing he said, I think there's a 0.2% chance that he'll be fired. Where are you getting that from? Like, why do you think that? Like, I thought that was interesting. Like, 0.2%?
What about the TV part? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. But
like, he just throws out.
He's throwing out all these things that he could possibly
maybe he'll coach do this, maybe he'll do that, maybe he'll do TV. He has an Emmy. Like, out of nowhere. Like, is that common knowledge that when he was on that NFL 100 thing that he earned an Emmy?
Yeah. Right.
For
well,
that?
Deuce knows because
Well, he probably was on the committee that gave it to him.
but that's the academy, right?
That's
here.
right.
TV guy. He said, could he be fired? There's a 0.2% chance of that happening.
Well, that's because of the compensation, I would think. Whether it's compensation for his, whether
I don't know.
Whether it's compensation, well,
be.
he's not going to get fired because A, then they have to pay him the full amount, and B, then they don't get anything.
All
for
these other things he listed, he said were, could happen, but the firing, he said, very little chance of that happening, like 0.2%.
Right, but isn't it that just because of the logistics of firing him?
Just the semantics, that
Right.
mutual parting.
Yeah.
He's going to get
I
fired.
think that.
Like,
But I think the semantics is what he's hanging on. If they call it a mutual parting of the ways, he's fired.
Right.
But they're not going to. It's not going to say Belichick was fired. And I think that's what I kind of agree with Evan and Alex.
Maybe that's what he's talking about, but then it is, semantics, because either way, he's no longer coaching at the Patriots, and he's being paid until someone else hires him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that when you look at the team, the record isn't even the whole story. It's just not an entertaining brand of football. And at some point, I think that does matter. Like, even I know everybody always says like winning is entertaining. Winning Super Bowls is entertaining, but even they won 8 games last year. That wasn't entertaining. They were a slog last year too. Yep. And at some point, you have to be putting in an exciting product on the field for your fans. And right now, the Patriots just aren't an exciting product outside of 23 minutes against Pittsburgh.
Right. Not a lot of players to put butts in seats.
Yeah. I don't want to go on and on about this situation, but
but it was interesting.
This is what's trending this morning.
Yeah, and it was interesting, like you said, the reaction to what Tom had said. And by the way, he said it on Monday.
Yeah,
it's old.
Well, that's how the Dove.
That's
machine
how it works. All of a sudden,
always dragging
it's not news
something
until we
out.
put it on Twitter. Like
right.
That I think that the fact that he just said it on Monday night on a show, one of his shows, kind of speaks to the fact that it's not that big a deal.
Right, it had to be dug up, and
like we were talking about in the aftermath of while we were still in Germany, while you guys were still in Germany, Mike and I had already come back. There were reports about the important. I think Ben Volen wrote about how this Germany game could be really important. So it's not even like really new. Like it's been going on for weeks.
No, we were given really, really good access in Germany, and we filmed Robert addressing the team on Saturday during the walkthrough at the stadium, and he said this game is really important, to the organization. So I can understand where Curran would think this, and I could understand if he talked to a couple people here and they kind of said that, but who did he talk to? And it's not a report.
Well, it's just such an indirect line. It's Tommy Curran on a TV show on Monday night. Then it goes to an aggregator, and now we get to Bill's press conference today, and we have the Boston Herald, asking Bill Belichick about it, and it's just.
Did any of the news places send the news guy down?
No.
Oh,
No.
I think
it
Byron
couldn't have been
Barnett's
that big.
retired.
Maybe the Jets game, this might be the last press conference, so we'll get our.
Paul and I always love that when there was a story that goes beyond the gridiron.
Oh, like the Antonio
and
Brown.
Duke.
Channel 5 would say, well, we can't just send our sports. We have to send the
Fred
news
and
guy.
Fred and I would sit in the back and we put our notebooks open. Let's learn something
and then
today.
the news guy
How
would
to
try
be a
to
journalist.
I'll get him to answer, and he would just shut them down like he would shut anybody
we're on to
else down.
Cincinnati.
I actually overheard somebody. I don't even know who it was, but I think it was the Antonio Brown thing, and the person was like, "I covered the president, and he
my
won't
God,
even
I
answer
would
my
fall.
questions.
Oh my
He doesn't
God.
think he
Right.
is, or something like that."
Get
And I
over
was like,
yourself.
"Then go back to the White House."
They try to
What
do that.
tell
They
you.
try to do that coming to community events a lot this season, and it's so annoying because it's a reporter you've never seen before that's pulling up.
Oh, and this
to
is their
ask,
chance?
Like this is their
Yeah.
chance that they're gonna get this big story about the Patriots, and just every time I get a look from Donna, our CR ringleader, and I'm just like, "Hi, just throwing in player name David. David, let's bring it back to our community event now.
Yeah.
Like reel it back
But,
in."
you get this feeling like, the reporter and his or her editor, like, when you go down there, he'll have to answer. He'll see you and have to answer. Right.
Bill, what would you say to the fans?
It's just the opposite.
perfect.
He sees you and he's like, "You never come here. I'm not giving you anything."
Right.
You know.
Right. No, he
Oh,
recognizes
it's
it.
such a joke.
Good morning, Bill.
Oh, Megan.
M.O.B., man.
That was great.
All right. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. Anything new coming out of Kansas City with, Winegate?
I think they kind of apologized the next day.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. I mean,
Andy
I know
Reid
Reed
did a
did. I think it kind of went away.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure they're still pissed.
Yeah. Well,
He's lying.
Better-
they should be pissed at
Offside.
themselves.
The refs better call it
And-
clean here this week, or
and
they'll be held
we,
to pay.
We talked about it yesterday. I think Mahomes' frustration was and should be with his own team.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Tony is still a member of the team, to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
Oh, right.
Not
He's
because he went offside. Because
No, but he
he
just seems
stinks
like
the
this
whole
seems like his
season.
thing. Well, I mean, even going back to when he was with the Giants, right? It's just he's one of those high
Happens.
maintenance
Disappointing.
players.
Disappointing first round
Always
pick. It
something
happens.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was a Giants first-round pick.
No, I know, but he's in like Bill.
Yeah.
Andy Reid's smart. You take
Yeah.
a depressed asset.
He had the good
distressed
punt,
asset,
the good
whatever
punt
it is.
return. in the
Depressed,
Super
not
He's probably
In this case,
depressed
maybe
now.
I
both.
think he's feeling.
Maybe both.
He's probably both because he dropped so
He
many
looked
passes.
pretty
But
depressed.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you you give him a shot at redemption. It
Yeah,
hasn't worked.
Yeah, well, he had a big Super Bowl, and I wonder if they're hanging on to him because that one Sunday in the playoffs, he might just have a huge game, and
It's a fair point.
That's good enough for us, sort of thing. I mean, he's a really talented player. He's obviously just a head case.
Yep.
Yeah. But so nothing new out of KC?
Not that I know
just
of.
curious about who's going to be at practice. Both teams. I mean, I think for me today, just did they get Parker back? Did they get Douglas back? Is Pacheco back for Kansas City?
And for my fantasy team.
And for your fantasy team, tough go for
No
you
one
this
cares
weekend.
about
I saw
your
your
fantasy team.
where you crowdsourced your fantasy choice, and then
I did. And then people were like, "Aren't you supposed to be the football expert?" It's like, I don't care about my fantasy. I'm just messing
They're
around
not paying attention to
with
your
my
picks.
with my followers. That's all. Like, I was just trying to engage people on a Sunday where I'm not doing anything.
Could
for
be
once.
a good thing for the Patriots if Pacheco is back because then they might run him.
Yeah.
And you're not going to run the ball against the Patriots.
yeah.
He's a good back.
He
He's had a
is.
good year.
He's a good player, but
For
Runs
my
so
fantasy team.
hard.
they're
I
not
love all
going to
the-
beat. They're not going to beat the Patriots running Isaiah Pacheco.
No, there's a lot of good Twitter jokes out there about him, just like how hard he runs. He just looks so furious when he.
You
I
know
mean,
my
it's
line?
so fun.
You know my line.
Like,
He
it's-
runs
He runs
angry?
like he's like no. He runs like he's angry at the ground.
Yeah.
it's a good
Like
line.
he kicks the ground when he runs.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of good Twitter jokes about how the Patriots drafted Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris instead of Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh man,
also. So.
especially where he seems like to me kind of
a Rutgers guy.
a talented Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. Like Ben Jarvis
he's
Green
way
Ellis was just
faster
so
than that,
famous
though.
for like never losing yardage and always running hard no matter what the situation was. But he's got real like talent, breakaway speed. But it reminds me a bit of him.
They wanted a speed back because they drafted Pierre Strong. He was the other guy that ran the fastest 40 at the combine in that draft class. And he went to Rutgers. And they somehow
How?
missed him.
Or maybe Bill was told no more Rutgers guys.
Somehow missed him.
No
Yeah.
more.
Oh boy. Okay, so what are we thinking? We don't. Taylor Swift. No word whether or not she's going to be here.
Actually.
I don't know.
Actually,
I don't know. Alex.
I think she is.
yeah?
I would say with about 90% confidence.
Don't get doved.
I was chatting.
Report.
I know,
Elvis
right?
Francisco.
Can you imagine?
Oh, he's going to
Yes,
get you.
I can.
I was chatting with one of the player girlfriends yesterday at an event, and she told me, I'm not going to name names, she typically sits in the suite of a certain season ticket member that we all know very well.
Yeah.
They cannot this weekend because Taylor Swift allegedly will be using that suite.
Wow.
You heard it here first.
Okay.
That's gonna get doved.
So I will
You're
say,
so
I had someone tell me that she did originally request a suite for the Monday night game, and they hadn't heard anything. The person that had said something to me hadn't heard anything since the switch to Sunday at 1. So it would make sense if she's around. Isn't it like her birthday coming up or something?
Her birthday was, I think, yesterday.
You think?
How old?
Yeah,
is
I'm
she?
a little
Listen.
upset about that.
How old is she?
It's today.
Today, 34.
Oh.
Did I hear that?
1989.
Are we going to do
Did I
anything?
hear that
for her?
today?
There
She's
you
getting
go.
up there.
Good math.
Getting up there. Clock is ticking.
My
She's the same
biological
age
She has a home
clock.
in Rhode Island, too, so.
Yeah.
She's the same age as my
Nice place to spend the
sister.
weekend.
Which she
It's
bought because of
My
another
age.
boyfriend, right?
Oh. In
Was
Newport?
that house, or was that the house across from the Kennedy compound in Hyannis?
No,
No.
I thought.
She was dating Connor Kennedy and then
No,
bought
no,
Lot
no.
of
The
bad
house
blood
on
there.
the
Kennedy-
I thought the Rhode Island one was
Nice.
to get close to
Really?
a guy too.
I think that the Rhode Island one she's had for a long time.
Yeah, I know, but I
Long time.
thought I
Newport.
remember.
It's beautiful.
Maybe.
Actually, know some people that have
It's
been to
wicked
that
nice
house.
there.
Watch Hill, actually. It's Watch Hill, not
Watch it.
Newport.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's also just a really nice beach. You know? I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be stunned if she's here.
Rhode Island is
She's
an
in her WAG
underrated
era.
state for beaches.
Rhode
Some
Island.
really good
Really?
beaches in Rhode Island.
Agreed.
Best in New England, I would say.
Yeah.
Really?
Does that
The whole,
include
the whole
Martha's
state's
Vineyard?
kind of a
Yes.
beach, no?
Yeah.
Called the Ocean State.
Yeah, that's true.
Underrated.
No, but people think beaches.
It's the ocean state.
They think like Cape Cod, Jersey Shore. You don't hear Rhode Island a lot.
No,
Jersey
you never hear. I'm
Shore
going
is-
down to Rhode Island to go to the beach,
Right.
Like for the weekend. You're like, what, Nantasket? What's that beach?
No.
Is that,
Well,
is that
you
a-
wouldn't go
that's-
there.
what's that?
Narragansett.
Where's Nantasket? Where's
It's
that?
in Hull.
Hull.
That's
Yeah,
Hull, right?
that's-
Okay, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
South Shore.
That's a nice
Mass.
beach.
I would
South
agree
Shore,
that
North
in terms
Shore.
of landlocked beaches, Rhode Island is very much up there. But Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard have.
Oh.
Those are the top ones.
I
It's
went
like
to a
the
beach.
same
Oh yeah.
beaches.
Why do you say
It's
that?
the same part of the ocean.
Yeah, it's not just about that though. It's about like Aquina and Martha's Vineyard is.
Now, why
Beautiful.
Really,
is it,
really
can
nice.
you swim there? Is the water
Yeah.
swimmable?
But just the views.
Rhode
and
Island
why
is
wouldn't you be a lighthouse
significantly
and the
warmer.
Might
cliff?
be too cold, or sometimes there's like too many
I got
sharp things.
We went there.
There's no rocks in Rhode
Sea
Island.
urchins.
You can surf in Rhode Island. The water is warm in Rhode Island.
He lives on the Cape.
He's apparently
Alex,
afraid
no.
of the ocean.
Sometimes we have to address Freddieisms.
We
Sorry.
went to Martha's Vineyard, and we went to this beach where you had to like get a day pass, and then you park like a half mile, and then you walked out, and I was like, "What is this?"
Where is this?
On Martha's Vineyard, and it was
yeah.
the most beautiful beach. I was like, it was almost tropical. I was like amazed because I grew up, on the Cape
Even
and
the
stuff.
ones that aren't as
It was
good, like
crazy.
state, like even ones
Yeah.
that like aren't considered like perfect are so nice.
The water was nice, no sharp things.
I've
It
never
was
been to
soft
Nantucket,
sand,
though.
everything. Yeah,
I've only
Nantucket.
been
No,
to.
I've never
I've
been
only
to
been on
Nantucket.
day trips to Nantucket. We've never stayed on
I've never.
Nantucket.
I don't have that kind
No,
of money.
I'm not that. My
The way
sister,
to
my
go
sister
is-
has a house on Nantucket now, though.
Oh.
Shout out Sarah.
I rented a Jeep once that
When can we
came
go?
with an oversand permit, so you could drive out, deflate the tires a little, drive out right onto the beach in the
That's
vineyard.
nice.
That's the way to do it.
That is nice.
Yeah, Tim, our friend at Duncan, says the house that Taylor owns is on Watch Hill.
Yeah.
That's what Alex just said, right?
Yeah.
Alex knows.
What is the what's the famous beach in the vineyard for sunsets?
Aquina?
Aquina,
Sunset
probably.
Beach.
So did you ever have like dinner out there?
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, on the cliff right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have everybody just
It's
comes
like
out.
that
They
little
bring.
restaurant.
Well, you don't even have to you can just bring. Everybody just goes down at sunset, and you get a bottle of wine or whatever.
Some Miller Lights, maybe.
Well, for me, yeah.
Why?
I-
Who is
I-
this?
And I tell Will, go get me a Miller Lite. will you?"
He also says this like I didn't just propose there. Like that.
Well, that's why I was asking
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Was that where you proposed in?
No, I proposed on Lighthouse Beach.
Yeah.
Which is in a different part.
Is that on Nantucket?
No, it's on Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been to the lighthouse on
You've probably done
Nantucket.
the Nantucket, right? You have that kind of money.
Well, I went
You and
there
Bill.
once with my wife.
Were you asked to leave and never come
for
back?
her birthday, and I went to Martha's Vineyard once when I was in high school, and we were all drunk.
You've
Really?
only been to the
Yeah.
islands once each?
Yep.
Wow. Cape guy.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing about the Cape is if
It's
you
right.
boring. It's boring.
Right? Why would you get on a boat?
My stepmom's
boring for
family
you.
has been out in Churro for a really long time. They have businesses out in Provincetown and Churro. So I've gone there my entire life. Same thing with my stepmom. My stepmom still to this day is in her 50s, has never been to either island.
Yeah.
Why would you?
It's
The Cape's
common.
got
No, but they are worth going to. They're cool.
Oh no,
see
Martha's
I
Vineyard.
do appreciate the fact that your stepmom is my age, but that's okay.
All right, 855-PATS-500. Since we don't have any other news to put on the table, we might as well get to our callers. We'll start with Alex in Austin, Texas. What's up, Alex?
Hey guys, how we doing?
Good.
Hey.
So I really appreciate the show. You guys get me through a lot of really long commutes on the podcast. One note for Fred: this was brought up on the post-game show. The Foo Fighters thing that Christopher Walken did. You got to do "Let's Go" places like that. But the one thing I wanted to bring up, I was looking at the 2024 opponents and feeling pretty encouraged because we've got potentially 3 Pacific Coast teams coming in with the Rams, the Seahawks, and either the Chargers or the Raiders. So, yes, everything's doom and gloom right now, but I'm looking ahead. I'm optimistic. We have some players. We're going to get our guy. It's going to be good.
Okay.
So, that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thanks, Alex.
For the ignorant in the group, why is that a good thing?
because they have to come all the way here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold here sometimes.
Paul, you should know the spot.
It's a
good
yeah,
spot.
I know.
Good
Can I
spot.
see the spot before I deem it an advantage for
Well,
one team
they
or the
also-
other?
The Patriots also have to go to like San Francisco. Also,
no,
so
but,
that-
like,
that's a bad spot.
If just for argument's sake, the Rams are coming for a Sunday night football game here, I don't think that's an advantage for the Patriots.
No, it's that 4th place schedule though. You know.
but a
That's-
1 o'clock game,
Sure.
get that body clock.
I
10
can
a.m.
I can get that. You know,
I don't know who
although,
our coach is going to be. I don't know our
if you
offensive
guys-
coordinator or quarterback, but we got him.
I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a time when you could just pencil in a win if the Chargers were playing at 1 o'clock on a Sunday.
I remember those
in
times,
Foxborough.
Paul.
Fred told me all
I
about
remember
it.
those
But
times.
And how'd that game end?
Right now, to me, the least thing I'm thinking about is what the schedule's like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I
that's
just
a
was
deep cut.
curious as to like the 3 West Coast like.
well, listen,
Chances are
he's looking
at
for
least
anything.
one of those will be a primetime
he's
game.
looking for silver linings.
I am looking forward to going to San Francisco for the first time.
Although the Patriots might not get a lot.
It's
of
not really
primetime
San
games.
Francisco though.
Well,
Yeah.
the stadium and everything. though.
Right.
That's one that I haven't been to.
Overrated.
Down bad.
I
right
went
now,
there. I was
too.
there in 16. I went to that one.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
about
fine.
like the clubs and everything, but the stadium is
Don't leave
yeah.
anything in your rental car. Like not even a penny.
really
It
San
will
Francisco?
get broken into in
Oh. In
literally
Santa Clara?
1 minute.
at Levi Stadium.
No, probably not there, but just in town.
If you're in downtown, what do they call the really bad one? Like the
The-
Tenderloin or something? There's
I don't
there's some
know.
really bad part. I don't remember what it is, but yeah. Anyway.
My family
We
got
talking about
robbed
San
in the
Francisco?
mission.
Yeah.
I just I keep track of all the stadiums that I've been lucky enough to go to, and that's one that I haven't been to yet, so I can check it off.
Have you been to
That's a-
Seattle?
No, that's the other one.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
That's a good one.
I've
A
been
lot
to
of the
that
West
one.
Coast ones I have obviously haven't been to for obvious reasons, but I've been to I think 23 or 24 at this point, so I'm getting close.
Yeah, I think I've hit
Yeah.
them all.
Really?
You've,
Wow. You
uh,
should.
I'm
Do you
sure
have a
you have,
checklist?
Fred.
Yeah, I have.
I don't think
a
anything is
physical
opened.
one?
I have an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh
actually.
no, you gotta like get one of those like you scratch off the
No,
stadium
Yeah,
when
I've-
you
I'm
visit it.
an Excel.
I've probably been to somewhere around 40, but there are ones that I have. The newer one, I haven't been to Santa Clara. That's one. I haven't been to Jerry World, and I haven't been
That
to
was cool.
Vegas.
Jerry World was lived up to the hype.
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
other than SoFi, Jerry World's the best stadium.
So far, I
Yeah.
haven't been to.
Yeah.
So there's a handful of brand new ones that I haven't been to.
I'm gonna,
comically low
I'm gonna
amount of
check
stadiums
off,
I've been to.
Mile
Me
High
too.
in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Levi's when we go to next year, Seattle. Ironically, I've never been to Raymond James, which is weird. Tampa
That's not a bad place.
and Carolina.
Generic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very generic.
And the last one is SoFi because it's so new. Yeah.
Okay,
Raymond
let's
James
go.
was my first road trip.
Let's go to Mason in South Dakota. Hey,
Almost
Mason.
wasn't your first road trip. Right?
Hey, how's it going, guys? How are you?
All right.
I got a quick question. We were talking. I've heard Evan talk about before. That he was kind of worried that Bill O'Brien type offense, that puts so much stress on
the quarterback and the players and the wide receivers to really kind of be on the same page all the time. Maybe kind of fading and struggling to be successful. But I kind of wanted to bring up the point, too, and kind of get you guys' opinion on, those classic, think of like Tom Brady quarterbacks, the Peyton Manning quarterbacks that were more of those less mobile, but kind of stuck in the pocket and were more that general that, drove the ball down the field, those types of things that had the very little mobility and things like that, and that weren't really a threat with their feet. Do you think that type of, that archetype of quarterback is also kind of like maybe kind of dying out? Like, we think a lot of the premier QBs in the league, and they all have that ability to, for the most part, extend plays and be somewhat of a threat with their feet when the play breaks down. And, Mac doesn't have that, that was kind of a big thing that was kind of a knock of him in college, but he was able to process quicker, that's what they kind of thought. So, and I kind of thought kind of the relation to basketball, a lot of big men now, too, they have to be able to shoot. They have to be able to guard the 1 through 5 positions. And, a lot of guys that they have to have a much wider skill set and athleticism to be successful.
Yeah.
So do you see that with the quarterback as well? Are those types of things where, a quarterback's going to have to be able to be much more athletic than, like, will we ever see a type of Mac player be drafted as high as he was because you need to be athletic now.
At the very least, I think.
I'll take it off the air.
Okay, thanks, Mason. I think at the very least in today's NFL, you have to at least be able to extend the play with your legs.
Yeah.
Because I do think that, defenses are more sophisticated. And, you're not going to have the time to survey the field like, Manning or Brady, sometimes required. But, they would get the ball out of their hands quick. But I think you have to have some mobility in today's game. Now, 20 years from now, its cycle could change again, but
it's just hard-pressed, I think, to Mason's point, like, looking at the draft next year, there aren't any quarterbacks that can't move. Like, just pure, like, in terms of supply.
Right.
There's just not any quarterbacks. I think you have to get all the way down to probably, like, Carson Beck from Georgia is going to be, like, a 4th-round pick. Until, like, Bo Nix can move. Daniels can move. Caleb can move. May can move. Penix can move a little bit. Like, he's more stationary pocket passer, but he's a little bit mobile. So all those guys can run around to an extent, and I think, they were talking about this on the Manning cast a few weeks ago. One of the few times I actually thought something was interesting from the Manning cast.
Wow, shot.
They were talking to Patrick Mahomes, and Peyton Manning just said that nowadays it seems like it's like initial read, rhythm read, which is kind of like your second read in the progression, and then go make something happen, right? Like that's sort of the progression for the quarterback. And then, back in his day, Peyton was saying that it was all about reading the whole field and like seeing, going 1, 2, 3.
Get to my 5th read.
Right. And go through the whole progression and all this stuff. And he was like, nowadays I watch quarterbacks and it's like, if 1 and 2 ain't there, it's just make something happen.
Yeah.
Like turn it into magic. And Patrick Mahomes agreed with him. He said, yeah, that's 100% what we do.
Paul, remember back in the day, you had scramble. You didn't have mobile quarterbacks. You had scramblers.
Yeah.
So like
Fran
Tarkenton or Staubach. These guys wouldn't run, but they would scramble. They'd extend the play behind the line of scrimmage until somebody freed
and just
up.
to show you how different the game is, I mean, and we're going back 50 years, but Landry hated Staubach because of that. And he refused to give him the job probably a couple of years longer than he should have waited, because Craig Morton was more, run the play.
Right.
Just run the play.
I think the league, too, is just so full with athletes. Like, and I don't know about the speed. Just be an athlete. The quarterback has to be an athlete. You just can't have unathletic quarterbacks. Everybody on the field can run. Everybody's fast from the defensive line all the way back
That's
to the
why,
pass.
and Paul will back me up, John Elway doesn't get enough credit. He could do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's
my number one.
He could move subtly in the pocket, like, just a couple steps here and there, but he could also take off and run and beat guys with his feet. He had an arm like a cannon. He was like, he had it all.
Yeah.
He had it all.
Tell me more, Paul. I didn't realize he was that you liked him so much. That's interesting.
Well, because of that. I thought he was the best combination of skills. I think he also dragged far lesser teams to the Super Bowl. I'm going to guess that if we were doing this show in the late 80s, early 90s, that Evan would have referred to Joe Montana as Brock Purdy light. And he would have been much more impressed with John Elway.
So he manufactured a bunch of yards on screens.
You know?
That checks out.
Like,
Just throw it to Jerry Rice and let him take it to the house.
I have heard
disclosure,
yak over expected with Jerry Rice very high, very high.
So I just feel like Elway. I mean, you know me. I like the guys with the skill set. He had the best arm. He threw it downfield. He could move. He could run, not just move to buy time. He could also run tough. I think he was the total package, and he did not have the amount of talent around him.
The three amigos were so overrated.
Like if I think if he was on Miami, they would have gone to the Super Bowl every year. You know that, and I think Marino was a great passer. Don't get me wrong, but Marino, I don't think he had. He didn't have the mobility that Elway did.
Yeah,
those Denver teams were very average.
Yeah,
they weren't bad teams, but they were very average.
They would get to the Super Bowl and get slaughtered.
Yeah,
you know, because they just get beat in the trenches and. You know,
but even sometimes Denver wasn't even the best team in the AFC, and they would go on the road and pull off an upset and get there. And
Shannon Sharp, who was their receivers? Rod Smith.
Well, that was toward the end.
Yeah, that was later.
Yeah, that was.
But it was like
the 90s
Vance Johnson. Was it Mark Jackson? Who were the three amigos?
Oh, it was
Vance Johnson, Mark Jackson. I don't know.
Before my time.
I forget.
Same.
Somebody will look it up and tell us.
Shut up, Alex. No one likes you.
But they were known for their defense.
I said it first.
The Orange Crush and Randy Gradishar.
I saw somebody posting a clip yesterday of my guy Brock Purdy, and he throws a slant to Deebo Samuel, and the guy's like, look at the ball placement on this slant. Then Deebo Samuel breaks 3 tackles and runs into the end zone for like a 40-yard touchdown, and he's like, but the ball placement got it all started.
I could just see Evan. Like,
Evan's
going to be on his deathbed.
I met
that 2023 Purdy, man, he's so overrated.
I'm probably going to mess this stat up, but the general sentiment of it, I like it was something like if you take
Mark
out
Jackson and Johnson.
If you take out passes beyond the line of scrimmage for Purdy, if you just he still is like highly rated in yards per attempt because even when he throws behind the with his passes behind the line, he's got a crazy yards per attempt just because of
fascinated though about the MVP voting this year with him because traditionally speaking, he's the MVP of the league. Like just in terms of
the best quarterback on the best team,
right?
Quarterback of the best team. Sorry.
The quarterback of the best team with the production and all those types of things. But we have maybe to a fault. We have a lot of advanced metrics now that tell us that a lot of Brock Purdy's production is inflated by his supporting cast. That's just a fact. And I think a lot of people are going to look at it and say, well, Deebo Samuel just goes out there and breaks 3 tackles, or Christian McCaffrey catches a screen pass and goes 60 yards for a touchdown, and we're giving the quarterback
credit. To me, there's 3
credit.
people that should be in contention for most MVP. It's Mahomes, it's Lamar, and it's Hill. Those are the 3.
Oh, you've missed a big one.
Who?
Dak Prescott.
Yeah, he's playing well. Yeah. Okay.
All
right. I'll give you that.
I think
this year.
I think Dak is if you're going to have to give it to a quarterback, then I think Dak is the MVP.
I'd put him in. Okay.
I'm totally on the same page with just the spirit of the MVP award. It is not the best player. It is not the leader of the best team. It's the player who is doing the most without anything around him. You know, or maybe not anything. But
it's the guy who,
is that
if you
the
take
NFL
him out of the
MVP
equation,
is the quarterback of the best team? Is that? I mean, I haven't really studied that.
No, it shouldn't be that. But
I haven't. No, is that what it turns into? It's usually a quarterback.
It turns into.
I know it's always a quarterback.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even. I mean, I'm somewhere in between Evan and like these people that evidently are talking about the ball placement on a routine pass, but. I wouldn't even think about Brock Purdy in the MVP. You wouldn't even be in my top 10.
I wouldn't either.
I don't think he's in the top 5 MVP on his own team.
I mean, it's the same thing when
I don't.
It's the same thing.
Now, however,
Bill Belichick
I've seen that
over the
offense
years
with different guys. It doesn't look like that.
True.
For Coach of the Year, like people would say, well, Bill is hurt because he has so much talent, and so when you have that much talent, you can't get Coach of the Year. Usually, Coach of the Year is a team that no one expected to be that
and then
good.
Gets fired in 2 years,
and then they are that good, and so it must have been the coaching, and so they give it to the coach.
Yep.
It's always like a first year. Like Dable was the Coach of the Year last year. Now the Giants are 5 and whatever. But I just look at guys like Purdy, and I think it was Greg Olson that was on that broadcast, and he was talking about for example like Kurt Warner. won MVP with the greatest show on turf, and it had Hall of Fame players all
That's a
around
good
him
one.
on offense, but the quarterback won MVP. Like that was, and that's how it used to be. You know, the
Most
guys like that. You know, he even,
but
he
the
even brought
year,
up Peyton.
The year that he won MVP, though, like to come off the bench having never played. I don't know if you know, but he used to stock shelves in a supermarket.
I've heard
I've
that.
heard
this story.
He played in Europe.
Was it at
too,
Pizza
I think.
Time?
Okay,
that,
like
that
that's-
movie's in my like aggregation. Like,
that's a little
cycle
different.
on
I think he deserved
on
MVP
Reels.
in '99. That was the year, right? '99.
I think so.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Oh, I didn't say he wasn't overrated.
He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
I didn't say he should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying in 1999, when you're like an undrafted guy who's, coming off the bench, nothing's expected, and you put up that kind of a season,
Okay.
Yeah.
So there should be a special award for that.
MVP.
Coming out of nowhere award.
The MVP award.
Right.
Yeah.
Most
That's
improved.
what it is.
Most
Like he was the best
biggest
player,
surprise.
and everybody,
I think Paul would throw for
We got-
5,000 yards in that offense.
Who you got coach of the year this year?
I can tell you for sure.
this
that I
year?
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Marshall Falk.
Well, it
Bryce
depends on
Falk.
what happens. I think there's still a little bit like Mike McDaniel should be in the running. I think, you know.
Coach of the year.
Peterson, maybe?
I
Coach of the
have
year.
a coach of the year for you. That's,
Co-
you
I mean,
probably
believe
won't
it or
agree with.
not,
I might be
to
the same
put up
one.
what you have
Kevin
to put up.
Stefanski.
Oh, really?
That's another
Kevin
one.
Stefanski has won games with 4 different quarterbacks.
I was. That's another one. To put up what you have to put up with in Dallas and win. I say that he should be in the running.
So I
Oh,
think
I know.
until they have fallen off a little bit lately, but D'Amico Ryans was like the betting
Yep.
favorite for a really long
There you
time.
go.
in
I think
Houston.
D'Amico Ryans deserves
Yeah.
consideration.
Yeah, but they,
I think
they
even
got smoked
Steichen.
last week, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one too, Paul.
I think but that falls into the Evan thing of team not expected to do much, first year coach. I think Cleveland. I don't know, like that. I think it's impressive
Yeah.
to have 4 different guys win games.
Now
for
you could say some of his decisions are part of the reason, but Robert Saleh keeping that team in contention.
Zach Wilson's AFC Player of the Week.
I mean, like he's doing something right over there, and I know he's a defensive-minded coach, but that defense is one of the best in the league. He's kept them competitive throughout, the whole season. I got to give him some
I
credit.
don't think they've been competitive.
He's not going to be coach of the year, but I give him credit for keeping it together.
Personality manager
Yeah.
of the year.
But I will say, can like the Players of the Week awards come back to us, NFL? Like who, Tommy DeVito, he threw for like 150 yards. What are we doing?
I like Big Jim Murray's thing on the radio yesterday, where like all NFL teams should be required to have a third string quarterback that's like a local stereotype.
Right.
Which should be perfect. Like
Well, back in the
Tommy
Sully,
from South
right,
Zach
right.
Wilson and you couldn't find anybody
Sully?
better this week than
Right.
Zach Wilson and Tommy DeVito.
Sully would be the Patriots'
Right.
third
Oh
string
yeah,
quarterback.
Back
just
in-
Sully.
Guy.
in the old
God, I
days,
didn't even know you're open.
in the old days when Red Auerbach was drafting for the Celtics, in the later rounds he'd draft the local kids so they didn't have to pay for the flight.
No, yeah.
That is true.
It's like a Bruins thing.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean,
That's
the Bruins always
that's
get
a
the
true
local
tall
kids,
tale.
too. Yeah.
But then on the other hand, when Ray Flynn, who became the mayor of Boston, he was a pretty good player for BC. He was a
PC.
high draft pick. He didn't want to pick him because the local, he would be too much of a local favorite.
That's why he didn't make
Yeah.
the team.
And he didn't make the team. Yeah.
Right, because of that.
Yeah.
But PC, I think, was Providence.
Providence
right?
College. He
Yeah.
played at. Yeah.
Now it's hard. My sister knows Charlie Coyle's mom a little bit just through Weymouth stuff, but she was terrified when he
Humble
got
brag.
traded here that it wasn't going to work out, and this is the team he loves, and obviously it did work out. It was a great trade. He's been a great player for the Bruins, but he's just the pressure. Well, great.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
the local guy.
come
It's been good.
on.
Good. It's been good.
Solid third line center.
Solid.
Charlie Coyle's
absolute.
a
Well
really
played.
solid player.
Solid
Yeah.
third
No,
line
it's.
center.
I mean, I think he gets miscast. People want more, but I think anybody
I
would
think
take
he's-
him on your team as
I
your
think
third
he's
line
fine.
center.
He's perfect on the third line.
Yeah.
Let's go to Dan in New Jersey. What's up, Dan?
Hey, hi.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
First time, long time.
There you go.
Had a
Deuce.
comment and
Thank
a
you.
question.
Yep.
So the comment is, I'm from Tommy DeVito's hometown
All right.
Love that.
in Jersey here.
Have a
And
cutlet.
he's
Have a
actually,
cutlet on me.
My son, and they went to school together, grade school for a couple of years.
Nice.
Nice.
But then he transferred to one of these football factories, Don Bosco. So
Yep.
Oh yeah.
didn't go to high school with him or anything, but so it was a big deal when he was on. After the Patriots game, I guess he won his second game, and they were on the bye week, and he was all over. He was, local pizzerias and signing autographs and delis and the like. Anyway, but the other thing is that doesn't get a lot of press is that David Njoku is also from Cedar Grove, or at least was here a couple of years. and he did play on the high school team.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So
I went to Everett High, and there are a lot of NFL players that went to
Yeah.
Everett High School.
Yeah.
Including Isaiah Likely.
Oh,
There right now.
He's pretty good.
It's Malik Cunningham's teammate now.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm hoping you there's like a punchline to this story, or it's
I was
like
trying to punch it up a
what's the you got anything good on DeVito? Anything?
Cutlets are overrated.
Yeah.
Probably.
Dan?
Oh, is he still
Yeah,
there?
the funny thing is, it's it's kind of a bedroom community here. We're 15 miles from Manhattan, so there's not a lot of people on the street. But he is in social media. People are posting, oh, they saw a picture of him, rooting for him, big time.
Yep.
There's not really a punchline.
But I just thought you were going to give us something like, okay, here's why I'm telling you this.
Well, I guess that I don't have anything. He was a little bit of a jerk, I guess.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
I don't have anything specific.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a cocky kid.
Okay.
And I guess that serves him well. I think he has a chance to make it. I don't know if you guys agree, but I mean, he'll compete for a job next year, right?
Probably.
For a job, like as a
On an
backup,
NFL
yeah.
roster?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
I don't think anybody would be
No,
looking
he's
to
not
make him
going to
their starter.
dethrone Daniel Jones, though, man. Let's not get crazy.
Right.
Well, that's a low bar.
No, I think he has a future in the NFL.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I
Yep.
just think that you look at his performance in that game to win NFC Player of the Week over Dak, who destroyed the Eagles on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah, he did.
A lot.
All right, thanks, Dan.
It's like the closest thing to Linsanity. Remember when
Oh,
Jeremy
yeah,
Lin
right,
was
That's exactly what it
Right,
is.
that's what it reminds
the,
me of.
the basketball
When
But
player.
that's
Jeremy
like
Lin was with the
when he
Knicks
wins
going
Player
off.
of the Week. Don't you feel like that's like the NFL just kind of fueling the?
Oh, for sure,
Like
but
they
look
just
at-
want.
And you
Look
know
at
they do that
all
on
the
purpose.
social
Right, so
media
it's not actually the most deserving
fodder
guy. It's
around
just-
like his agent on the sideline and his family. Like he's soaking up the 15 minutes and maybe
plus,
making
right,
something
it's
of
got
it.
the
People
New
from
York
his
market.
hometown calling
Right.
Patriots.
My wife knows the agent a little bit. She grew up like 4 houses down.
The agent works with Jonas Gray. Jonas Gray, don't quote me on that,
Yeah.
but the CR girls have to work with the agent all the time, so
Yeah,
they're laughing about.
He's a goof. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a harmless goof.
Yes.
And Beth liked him, but
He seems very agenty.
yeah, he was. He's a few years younger than us, so he was in school with my brother-in-law. But yeah, he grew up in the same neighborhood in Salem.
I
as
thought
my
the
wife.
pinstripe suit and the whole
Oh, yeah.
getup was
He's
such a
playing it up.
shtick.
But it was
brilliant.
It's not a shtick. I deep
Oh no!
dived his Instagram.
No, it is. It is a shtick.
Yeah,
Like,
somebody.
Well,
said
it's
to
a
us
But it's not just a
yesterday,
shtick
that
for
goes.
That's
this.
really
he's
his agent.
really
Like,
selling
no,
because
he does it.
Yeah.
Like he does wear hats. Like that's not really shtick, but like the black pinstripe suit, like a gangster.
A little bit.
I think it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like,
He looked
it
like Al
was. He
Capone.
looked like Tony Soprano's lawyer.
and
Yeah.
he knew what he was doing. And look what happens in this week. Like
Right.
that's what when you're young, sort of trying to be an up and coming agent. That's how you increase
Right.
your
For
profile.
sure.
I
Now-
think
For
he
sure.
struck while the iron was hot, and
He's
it
calling
worked.
prospects now.
Now,
Hey,
I
see
can
me
tell
on TV.
you-
Every Italian,
You know,
that
and I don't
ever
pretend to be
has
the Sean
had dreams of
Stellato.
playing in the NFL is calling him.
I'm not trying to be like the Sean Stellato like expert or anything. Far from it. But he's done a lot of really good stuff around Salem for like the youth programs and things like that. And when he shows up, he's wearing like quarter zips and Salem. So he's not wearing black pinstripe suits like he's a gangster.
Different
Do you know what I mean?
occasion. It's a different occasion.
So, but I'm just saying, like people, like I heard someone say that yesterday on the radio that like that's what he is. This guy's a total clown, and I'm like, listen, he's an agent, so there's always a degree of
a little bit of clown.
slipperiness to an agent.
See, I didn't even
by
mean it
definition.
so much as like a clown, but
that's not what he
like,
dresses like every day.
his
a clown? Like
Instagram,
he's funny to
just
you, or?
the way he dresses
Tell
is
the joke.
very like not super flashy, but like
Oh, yeah, he's
I
got
would
a
just
little
be like,
flash.
that man's Italian.
Yeah.
He looked
From
like he was
the
in Peaky
moon, I could
Blinders.
tell that man,
Moon.
not
And
Peaky Blind, not.
And
Is this
again,
Boardwalk Empire.
It's
and
more
again, when it's
Godfather
an
to me than
Italian
Peaky
Fred,
Blinders.
Right.
you can, without any kind of repercussion, go on Twitter and say, this guy looks like you could have your neighbor whacked. And there's nothing that happens to
To be fair,
Are you
Paul,
offended?
They're all playing
Me?
into
Yeah.
it so
Did you
much.
get offended?
Not offended in the least.
No, but he has
I'm
fun
mistaken
with it.
for Italian often.
Not offended in the least.
Deuce
But
has something to say.
Oh, and I
can
was just,
tell.
I mean, this is minor NFL
did
news,
Malik
but
Cunningham come back to the Patriots?
they traded,
back
just NFL is headed to Brazil. The league will play a 2024 regular season
So,
game
yeah,
at Corinthians Arena in Sao Paulo.
That was the best kept secret ever.
Yeah.
I thought that was years away.
Oh.
And I questioned the decision.
Alex, very
So
excited.
we're going to
your
Brazil,
Portuguese
is what you're telling
background
me.
there.
I don't know if we are, but says the league is going to play.
Yeah,
When
we
it's
won't
a
be
new,
going,
when it's
right?
a new market.
It said the league
Good
also
chance.
is expanding its international slate starting in 2025 with up to 8 games outside the
Oh,
U.S. in
God.
addition to the Jaguars.
So how many
Well,
were there?
anywhere else.
How many
Hear
were there
that.
this year?
2
5,
Germany and I think
Two
3,
London.
5.
Two or
I think there
three.
was 3
3
London.
London.
So
like,
5. So they're
Lo-
going to add 3 more.
London's
God
one thing
almighty.
because London is basically just like going out west, right? Like it's like a 5-6 hour flight.
Well, for us.
yeah, but I'm saying just yes for me because that's all. That's
No,
all
but
I'm
I mean,
talking about.
there's like
Yeah, there's a lot
there's
more to it.
26 other teams that it's not just like going out west for.
Yeah, but I don't work for 26 other teams.
And it's the passports and the logistics, and it's a stress on an organization to
I just
travel
wonder-
internationally.
I'd like to really see what the real books say on these games and
Yeah.
what they're getting from it. I just
There's a
can't
massive
imagine.
fan base in Brazil.
If you're the league, though, and you look at what the NBA is
Especially for us.
doing, and and even like they have more of an international appeal because they're getting players from other countries to play in their leagues.
Correct.
And that's where the NFL can't compete right now.
Right.
So they have to do something to expand their borders.
And even in Germany, we had like a couple football teams there, right, that we talked to that played football in around. I think there was a women's
There's
team
a
as
women's
well.
tackle team I talked to.
Yeah, it's no, it's true.
But
That's a good point.
the league, ultimately, the league needs more people playing football out of here so they can get more talent in the league from other countries.
I have a question for you, Fred, because when I was a blogger, I felt like Brazil was a huge Patriot. Like some of my traffic was all from Brazil. Is that an NFL fandom thing, or is that a specific
No, just
Patriots
like
thing?
I mean, during Brady, we developed fans from everywhere, and Brazil was big.
Yeah,
we were the number one.
But Giselle of it all must not have heard it too.
Yeah,
I mean,
that helped. Yeah,
Not for nothing, too. A lot of Brazilians, when they immigrate to America, they come to like the Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Like Portuguese
For
is
beaches, or?
I think the third most spoken language in the state.
Yeah, there's
behind Spanish and
big
English.
Portuguese community.
So
in
I think if you
Massachusetts.
know someone that maybe lives near Boston, you're just like that's your connection.
Yeah.
So you root for the Patriots,
Cape
all
Cod.
the success.
New Bedford area.
Yeah, there too.
Fall River.
Yep.
A lot of we had a couple like Portuguese chefs down the restaurants on Cape Cod and stuff that I worked at. And,
Yep. Portuguese bakeries.
Yeah, there was one in L.A. on Ventura Natas.
With the station Nata?
Sherman Oaks. Oh my gosh, they had like those cheese like kind of little Danish things that were amazing.
All right. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, 855 past 500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline.
8 international games.
Giron is in San Francisco. What's up, Giron?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to kind of mention, you guys briefly touched on what SF is like, and it's kind of, for me, a hot-button topic because I feel like there's this inflated perception that, like, if you come here, your car is definitely going to get broken into.
Yeah, Alex.
Or, like,
Well, it's personal
you're gonna step on
experience.
human
I'm
food.
not just like.
Okay, but that could happen anywhere.
I'm not saying that you guys.
No, sorry, I'm talking to Paul, not you.
Push it. But it's just like, I don't know. It's something I want to stamp down, especially if there's some Patriots fans that are like, oh, I'd love to go see the Niners play or something like that. SF's an amazing city to be in, but like absolutely, if you're using a rental car, don't leave luggage in there. It's gonna get bipped. And like, yeah, there's some spots that aren't great, like the Tenderloin you mentioned.
I thought that
Excuse
was
me,
what
Mike.
it was. Yeah.
But like,
Well, it's just like
every
Boston.
city
There's bad
has a
spots.
section that's not great. I'm sure Boston has something like that.
Don't go on the
No.
orange
The
line.
Kensington
It's all
and
wonderful.
Philadelphia,
Everett.
like, it's just we're a
Hey,
small
be
city,
careful.
7x7.
Yeah.
So the
I spent my whole
Tenderloin's going to be
childhood on
noticed
the
a
orange
lot
line.
more.
He's still alive.
And look at you.
But
I'm alive.
honestly, it's a great place to be.
Okay.
I had a great time. I went there in 2016. Did the whole Ghirardelli, had dinner with my cousins and family, and walked around. And I mean, it's a little bit of a. I mean, people don't realize it's a little bit of a drive to get down to the stadium out of San Francisco
yeah.
proper. But
Yeah.
It's
I had a great time. It's
No,
So
I-
like Foxborough.
yeah.
yeah,
We-
pretty
we-
much, pretty much.
We had a conference there, the NFL, and so I spent like 3-4 days there and went to Alcatraz and down the fish pier.
I went to
and all
Alcatraz when we were
Yeah.
on
that.
that
It
trip.
was-
Ride
it's
the
cool.
trolley.
Yeah, went to In-N-Out Burger. Yeah.
Oh, some
The
good
funny
burgers.
thing about Alcatraz
Some
is
good
anyone who's grown up here has never been on Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like Fred saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do
Doesn't go to
Alcatraz.
Or
Nantucket.
people in New York that never
It's
went to
not.
the Empire State Building or
I
whatever.
haven't been up the lighthouse yet.
Yeah.
I haven't been out the Lafayette side.
All right, thanks,
I
Garen.
don't know how you live in
Are
New
you
York
ser-
and don't go to the Empire State Building.
Are you
It's, like,
serious?
right in the middle.
I mean, I haven't, but
No, I haven't.
I figured you would.
But
No,
I don't mean like, but
I
to
figured
the
you
top.
did.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about. Like everybody walks by it, but I'm talking
Dude,
about you know.
Let's
Team
do that
trip to the
together.
lighthouse
yeah, we're gonna
after
go
the
to
show.
Oh, no, I'm out.
Let's do that
We're
together.
here. You want to go, Paul?
Let's do
After
that.
radio?
Let's do it.
I did like that area. Fred took me through it like 2 weeks ago when we were coming back from lunch, and that whole area down there. It's nice.
Yeah.
That was
What, the new atrium?
Yeah,
GP
first time I saw it. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it is
GP.
beautiful.
It is
Yep.
pretty sweet.
Danny's in Florida. Hey, Danny. Danny.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, Danny.
Oh,
Hey, just
Danny.
calling. I want to give you guys opinion and thoughts about what you guys think about from the recent reports from Tom Curran of NBC Boston Sports, and also what your thoughts on the draft pick coming in, Drake May from UNC.
Okay.
Get your guys' insight on that.
Well, did you hear the top of the show? Did you hear the beginning of the show, Danny?
So I came in towards the end.
Okay,
and,
we did talk about Tom, the report, and I think we're all agreeing that it could be true, but it wasn't really a report.
Yeah.
It was his opinion that he said on a show. You know, if you're going to file a report, you write it.
Yeah.
You write the report. And he was just a member of a panel on a show, and it's what he thought based on people he's talked to, but it really wasn't a report.
So what do you guys think about then from Robert Kraft, kind of what he said at the Army-Navy game on Saturday about how Pat McAfee had brought up and the other announcer had brought up about Belichick or Robert Kraft's building of the team and him kind of bringing Belichick into it without directly saying his name about what the legacy he's brought in here and partnerships, like some insight on that. Like, what do you think they're leaving some kind of breadcrumbs out there, like to kind of draw, fans and
Nope,
the
I
people
don't.
that are right and you.
I don't. There were two parts to that. One was he asked about building businesses and his success in business, and Robert mentioned hiring good people and letting them do their job, and that we have a lot of really good people that have been in my companies for a long time. The second part was at the end when McAfee said, I don't envy you for what you have to do at the end of the season. And it was going to a commercial, so Robert Kraft didn't say anything. And so a lot of people thought that by him not saying anything, that and what McAfee was referring to specifically was having to make a decision on Belichick, which was, I'm sure, part of it, But to me, I think everybody's looking for something, and more was made out of both of those things than should have been made. But I get it.
Yeah.
We're all looking for nuggets.
And they're all trying to be careful of what they say.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they realize now everything can be taken.
Yeah, I mean, we have.
Do you think
Go ahead.
Do you think the Kraft will come out immediately after the season and make an announcement? That's the last thing I have.
Well, one way or the other, we're going to know really quickly after the season.
Oh, really?
Whether he's staying or going.
I don't know if it'll be immediate.
I don't know. They sent
it'll
a
be
letter.
How long can you wait?
I mean, they
if you're
sent
not
a
gonna do
letter
it right
last
away,
year.
if you're gonna
Because
do it?
I don't think it'll be immediate because if they're going to try to trade him, then they have to negotiate.
They're not
going
to try to trade him.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think that's ridiculous.
I mean,
I was all in
I don't
on
think
that.
it's ridiculous.
I was all in on that. Oh, we can get a first round pick. A, you're not going to get it, and B, I just think if they don't want him, they're going to let him walk.
Yeah.
They did that with Brady, and I think they would do it with Bill Belichick if they want to move on.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I know.
Think about it. If you're Bill Belichick, it's like you're trading me. Like, what if I don't want to go there?
Well, it's not about. Well, he wouldn't be trading him somewhere he doesn't want to go.
He'll live by the sword.
But like if you so he wants to go to Dallas. Let's say.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, just wait it out. Don't trade. If they don't want me, I don't want to go to a team and all of a sudden I don't have my first round pick because they traded for me. I don't think the Crafts are going to do that. If they don't want him, I don't think they'll string this out and try to get the best offer and all that.
If they let Bill walk for nothing, the same way they let Brady walk for nothing, they're going to take a lot of heat for that.
Yeah, but Brady.
Not for me.
Brady,
I'd applaud it.
Yeah, Brady and
I don't
Belichick
disagree.
are not the usual assets on a team that.
I don't disagree, but I just know how this town works, and I know how.
No, I think,
screw him.
Yeah, I think Evan's
Screw him.
probably right about Sully.
Yeah.
But I applauded it for Brady. Not that the fact that they let him go, but that they didn't
franchise him. Or,
They didn't shackle him here and say, no, you can't leave. He wanted to go. They let him go. I applauded them for that. I know they took some heat for it, but I thought it was the right thing to do.
I got a question, though. You guys were here in 2000. How did you feel when they traded a pick for Bill? Like, when they gave up that pick to get him? Like, were you guys okay with that? Because, I mean, it was at the time, he was to
me, that was it was great, but it was drawn out. But that was the case where Bill was supposed to take over as head coach. But Parcells really wasn't leaving, and it was a new owner, and Belichick didn't want to be there. He just didn't want to be there,
But I just meant from from your team's perspective when you were doing PFW in progress or whatever. Like, how do you feel about? I mean, giving up a pick for a coach who had failed in Cleveland and hadn't really. I mean, it was just it seems like a lot. And when everybody says I don't want to go to a team where I don't have a first round pick, like I don't know. It's just we've lived it.
No,
already.
I know.
That's why.
There was a lot of criticism hiring Belichick. Kevin Mannix or somebody called him pond scum.
Duplicitous pond
pond
scum. That was Kevin Mannix.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, people were dead set against
language.
hiring Belichick. And I think, Paul, were you on the show that night with Borges?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we used to have a guy.
I was the voice of reason.
Yeah. We used to have a guy that did radio here at nights, Ted Sarandis. And the night that
Susan Sarandon, what?
The deal had just happened, and Paul was on with Ted Sarandis and Ron Borges, and Ron Borges is notable, crusty, old time journalism.
I have words for Ron Burgess.
Doesn't give two F's about anything. We'll say, and that night, like both Sarandis and Borges were like all over Belichick. How and Kraft. How can you hire this guy? He stinks. Blah blah blah. The phones were lit up, and poor Paul was on there, and he's working for PFW at the time, trying to
I think it's okay.
It could be all right,
I had to talk Teddy off the ledge.
Yeah.
Why were they so against him? I mean, did he rub people wrong when he was here?
He's a terrible coach in Cleveland.
Oh, just that. I just meant did he rub people wrong when he was here?
But anyway.
No, but that's what the opinion was at the time.
Right.
Yeah. And just like his smugness was already a thing. Like the Belichick was the way he handled
Old
himself.
doom and gloom.
Oh yeah. So a lot of people were against him. Plus, you went against Parcells, and a lot of these people they love Bill Parcells. Oh, they love them some Bill Parcells.
And that's like the thing. Like if there is another head coach here next year, no matter what the decision is, there's going to be a sizable population in Boston that's going to hate the move.
Yeah.
There'll probably be a minority of people that like the move, no matter who it is. It's hard to see the majority getting on board with anybody, and that's just how it goes.
No,
here.
look, I give Kraft. It took a lot to hire this guy when there were other people available. But he liked Bill from his first meeting when he was an assistant here. Probably would have hired him right away when Parcells left, but he needed that distance from the whole Parcells thing. So they obviously ended up hiring Pete Carroll. But when the opportunity came, in 2000, he went back to Belichick because he was impressed when he first met him. He knew he was really smart. He had the economics background, so he wanted someone who understood the cap and the ramifications of all of that. And, so he went with it. But it took a lot of courage because not a lot of people thought Bill Belichick was the guy.
It was not a no-brainer. I know it kind of seems silly in retrospect,
but
it was. Fred is exactly right. That was an unpopular choice, and the fact that you were giving up a first-round pick for it only complicated it.
Yeah.
And it was a leap of faith.
It turned out to be the best move ever. and
Well,
I will say that if
second best,
and I will say that if you're an owner and you believe in the coach, then a first round pick is a small price to pay.
Right, and especially where they were looking long term, and it was. I mean, I think there's a little bit more immediacy to things now, so that'll be an interesting kind of twist to it.
But hopefully your coach is going to be there for a long time, and a first round pick is nothing if he's the guy.
Yeah, I mean,
and you believe he's the guy.
And then they came the next year and hit on their Richard Seymour and Matt Light, and
everybody
hit on those picks.
And then everybody hated that pick too. So, I mean, it just
no Borges again.
Look, until you prove it on the field,
Borges
everything's
hated
a bad
Richard
move.
Seymour, he hated Brady, he hated Bill.
I don't remember him hating Brady. He definitely wanted David Terrell and did not like Seymour. I remember that.
And that's the guy.
I resigned.
And that's the guy that pitches
Seymour.
the Hall of Fame committee on our players.
But I'm not going to argue with that. I don't know what those two things have to do with each other.
So yeah, I mean, when they drafted Brady, it wasn't even a blip.
6th round pick.
Yeah.
There are people that were mad that they drafted a quarterback.
Who's this?
I'll
In the
show you
sixth round,
I'll
people
show you the
cared?
receipts.
Evan
Really?
was 6.
The receipts for
Yeah, I don't.
I'll show you
I
the
don't remember
receipts.
that. I mean, I can remember vividly. Collins killing the Seymour pick. He didn't.
Oh yeah.
He didn't rush the passer because people didn't know like the whole 2 gap and what his value would be and stuff like that. But people were
And
really
again,
critical
those
of
people are pitching the players. to the Hall of
Richard
Fame.
Seymour. But then you watch him play in the NFL and it's a different thing. You can see his value. Like it's not the same thing. But whatever.
Right. No, I maybe you have the receipts, Evan. But when they picked Brady,
I
it's
don't
like,
think-
okay, move on. Next,
I don't think
next
there's
pick.
a lot of criticism of the 199th
No.
pick of the draft, except for Rich Eisen. No, and there it is.
Yeah, right. Evan's off to practice.
Oh boy.
So
Practice.
we'll
Let's
find out
Let's
what's
talk
going
about
on.
practice.
Let's get Pop Douglas back like that.
Yep.
Be nice.
Web radio at patriots.com is the
I'm
email
going to disagree
address.
with that.
What?
I'd like to see him relax.
Oh, you don't want him?
Put his
Get
feet
ha-
up for a couple weeks.
Absolutely. No. Like, I worry guys with 2 concussions
Yeah.
in a season. I don't need to see him play in meaningless games. I'd like to make sure that he's okay. And I'm dead serious when I say this. I know people are like, oh, the Pollyanna, he's worried about his... Yeah. I am.
Protect
I've
him.
seen guys ruin careers with concussions early on and never be the same. I don't want to see that happen. T.J. Watt did not play a normal game the other night. I'm sorry, he was
investigation
concussed.
going on with that, right?
He was concussed.
Yeah.
He did not look right to me. Mike, you said it as soon as we saw the tinted visor on his helmet. What are they
Dark
doing?
room. It's a dark room.
You know, like, yeah, I am a little.
Yeah.
I'm a little squirrely
nice.
with concussions. Mike Wright was never the same.
Yeah,
like
he's a good one.
There's guys that I don't really see what's to be gained. You know, obviously, if he's 100% healthy, but I would just ask, well, who's making that determination?
Yeah.
You know?
Sean in Petaluma, California. You know Petaluma?
I've seen
course
it
you
written,
do.
but I don't know. I don't think I've traveled there.
Okay. Guys and gal, I find myself a bit emotional about Bill leaving since Kern's report yesterday. Bill has been our North Star for so long. Do your job has seeped into my personal life. Same with improve every day, and we're on to Cincinnati. Maybe it shouldn't be the Patriot way. Maybe it should be the Bill way. I can't sum up my emotions really well today. I just don't want it to end. At least we love Bill rather than never had Bill at all.
Oh boy!
But again, it's not a report. It's
I do wonder
I
over
wonder
these
if he's
last few
squirming.
games.
You think he's squirming?
PB?
No, Curran.
no,
Curran?
I don't think he is. He knows what he said. He didn't say it was a report.
No, I know, but it doesn't matter what he said.
I
This
know.
is how it's been. I mean, David Portnoy had like an emergency podcast.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Like, it doesn't matter what he actually said. It's how it's been taken.
Yeah.
I think that there might be a little bit of a surge in the support here over the last 4 games because, I mean, let's face it, he's like the last kind of vestige left of what was special about this team. And when he's gone, you're being cast to the wind. You don't know. I mean, I just laugh when people are like, I mean, it's at least a 4-year rebuild. I'm like, really? 4 years? Like, it could be 40 years. Like, how do you know? You're just another NFL team now. And that's, unfortunately, it's going to have to happen. But I think there are people that are going to get to that point where they say, I kind of like at least having Bill Belichick here and like, the things that come with it. I mean, we know.
Those same people were writing him out of town on Twitter and calling, like, it's just.
Those are the loud people, and of course, there's plenty, and for good reason. Look, I mean, we sit here and talk about it all the time, and even today, not to get into names, but people are pushing back on like, well, he hasn't had a quarterback, and it's like, well, if that's how you feel, then why don't you think you should have done more at the quarterback position instead of just staying pat with Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones last year? I mean,
I think it's going to be interesting if he does go and they hire, one of these offensive-minded coaches who's never been a head coach before, and he comes in and the media's like, oh, now we're going to be able to ask questions, and he's the same way.
He's a total dick.
He shuts them down.
Well,
I will laugh.
I can almost guarantee that whoever the next coach is going to give you all the answers of that things
I
that
hope
you're
not.
looking for.
No.
As someone
Especially
who
if we're also simultaneously trying to develop a quarterback.
Right.
No, I mean,
buckle up.
I don't really care like that much, but it won't be like this.
Oh, no. He'll do it with a smile on his face.
Right.
Yeah.
Like me.
But I don't want him to give up information,
No,
Well,
but
nobody gives up information.
We know there's there's
but you can answer questions.
Right. Conversational, courteous, those things.
Jonathan, the Chiefs hater, writes in, I'm from a small town about an hour away from Kansas City in Missouri. As a Pats fan, I cannot stand the Chiefs and the fans they have. I'm like everyone else. I was really pulling for Mac, but now I hit the reality wall this season, and I've been on the tank wave. But this week we must beat the Chiefs. He puts it all in caps.
Jack.
The tank must wait one more week. I hope Zappy shocks the world this week and we pull a win out that no one expects us to win. My question is, what do we do if we fall out of the top 3 to 5 picks? Do we still try to get a quarterback?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I mean, look, you want one. I mean,
I don't know about
what,
that.
4? I mean, 4.
No, but
if
probably
they,
4
if they drop down a few picks, I want to move up and get a quarterback.
Exactly, move up. If there's a guy
I don't
you
want
love,
to do what they did in 21 and just sit around and wait for whatever someone will be available.
Yeah.
right. If there's a guy you love, do whatever you have to do to get him. You know.
That's what I want to get. I mean, I haven't, really dove into these guys and really developed an opinion I feel passionate about. But that's where I hope to get, and by, January is to, actually, people call in and they're like, what do you think? I can't do that for 2 months with like, who do you think like between this guy and this guy? I'm like, oh boy. But I do, this is my job. I mean, I enjoy it, but I want to be have it come with an opinion that something like, I think that's what I respect most about, some of the people that cover this team are the people that watch the game themselves, have their own opinions, and, you don't have to always agree with them. Like, Greg, I don't always agree with Greg, but he's somebody who is invested in it and is going to have an opinion, and whether you agree or not, you have to respect the work that goes in. So, it's going to be a long few months, I think, leading up to the draft with all these, scenarios. But I'm just curious how it's going to affect if you're the 3rd overall pick, because when we were at 15, there were so many things that could happen. Like what is this guy going to fall through the cracks, or those things. Where if you're at 2 or 3. Like we can't take a call every week. Be like, so what do you think at 2? Like, I mean, this Drake May. No,
I think it's largely the same. That's why I hope Fred's right and that this gets resolved quickly, so we don't have to talk about it anymore. But like this whole is Bill going or not?
Yeah,
has gotten old to me weeks ago.
Just one more point I was going to make was just with the things happening quickly. I mean, I'm sorry, Paul. Hold on.
Make sure there's no tomatoes on mine.
Just does the Crafts put that letter out last year, like right away? I mean, they feel like something has to happen, whether it's a move or information or letting the fans know.
A lot of people feel by putting out that letter they signed his, death certificate.
Yeah.
Well. No.
I mean, they set the expectations, and I mean, I think just making it explicit, like here, this is it. We're sending a letter, like it certainly did put Bill a little bit in the corner.
All right, we'll be back after Paul eats. Right after this.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
What's up, everybody? Bill Belichick spoke with the media yesterday. Let's listen to what he had to say.
All right, good morning. How you doing? All right, well, good to be back at it here, back on the field today. Kansas City, obviously, great program. Andy's done a tremendous job there, as he did in Philadelphia. Really, got a good football team, well-balanced team. They're good on defense, they're good on offense, they're good in the kicking game. Andy does a good job, they're really well coached. So, we're going to have to, play well, coach well, play well in every aspect of the game. Offensively, of course, it all starts with the quarterback. He's a great player, does everything well, can make all the throws, athletic, got a lot of poise, clutch player. Can't say enough about what he does, for their team. Checo's done a good job running the ball for him. Really tough runner, good vision, good contact balance. Obviously, Kelsey, Rice has emerged in the passing game. So, inside the offensive line, with Joe, Creed, really solid there. So, some of the really good offensive players all the way across the board. Defensively. Jones is major problem, like he always has been. And they have a good scheme. They put a lot of pressure on you with different looks, different blitzes. Getting Bolton back, that certainly helps him. He's a quality player, runs well, very instinctive, kind of their defensive signal caller, communicator, does a good job, and good specialist. Townsend's all-pro punter last year. Butker hasn't missed this year. So, and then the return game between Tony, James, Hardman, who's out obviously, but got a lot of guys that have returned. They're a good return team. That was a big play in the Super Bowl with Tony's return, to set up the winning touchdown. So they're explosive there too. So again, a really quality team. That's balanced throughout offense, defense, special teams. Well coached, presents some scheme problems, and they got some players that you can ruin the game if you can't take care of them. So there we have it.
Where does McDuffie show up for the?
Usually he's the nickel corner. He plays outside on base defense and then plays inside. They're mostly in nickel, but not always. Occasionally he plays outside nickel, sometimes when they use 3 safeties. But most of the time he's the slot defender. Slot corner.
I mean, good.
They blitz him a lot. He's been a pretty productive blitzer. He's an instinctive guy, he's quick. It's been productive for him, disguises. I mean, he's a smart player. He plays smart in there.
For you guys, offensive coaching staff-wise, see Ross leave and Adrian not there. You're down 2, sort of picking up kind of peak hill in hockey. Just going 5-on-3 here, or do you move some people around to try to make up the difference?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of what we're doing is what we've been doing. We're not going to put in whole new games at this point. So, we refined it to game plan it. And so, but Troy will handle the receivers. And Billy's, we've had 2 offensive line coaches, 2 receiver coaches. So it's actually, I've had another person to take care of both of those, help take care of it.
Bill, I wanted to ask you a question. Speaking, obviously, for yourself and your understanding, do you have an understanding that Robert will not ask you to be back next year?
Yeah, I'm getting ready for Kansas City. That's what I'm doing.
Did you guys attempt to keep Malik when the Ravens were signing off the practice squad?
Yeah, but I think that, they had they sold him on the opportunity, the offense, he and Lamar. So certainly their offense suits Malik better than probably any other offense in the league does. Does that make sense? As a quarterback.
Is it your understanding, Bill, that maybe more opportunity to play quarterback? Obviously, he was doing a few different things here for you guys, but is it maybe the opportunity to focus on quarterback that?
Yeah, you have to talk to him about this. I don't know.
Do you feel like it's important? I've just been thinking back to early in the spring and summer. You guys had Trace McSorley as part of the quarterback group. Do you feel like it's important to have a quarterback with some mobility or mobility is one of his strengths to be part of that position group?
Something to look at. I mean, all players have their individual strengths and weaknesses, and so try to get the ones that have the best opportunity to be productive, help your team.
Open. Is it your intention to bring in a quarterback?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll talk to Matt and personnel staff and see what our options are. I don't think it's a absolute necessity, no, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
With Ross leaving, how unusual is it for a coach to leave the staff at this point? Is that more about the college game and the college schedule?
Yeah, they're on a totally different schedule. I mean, they've already had multiple major schools hire new coaches, and obviously coordinators that are with those coaches are the next step. So it's just a different cycle. The window opens and closes at a different time frame than the NFL does.
Are you anticipating they'll let Adrian back this year?
It's really a medical decision. Just see how that progresses. I would say not this week.
Coach, you're obviously a really man-heavy defense, but you tend to play man over half the time against Patrick Mahomes. I was wondering what difficulties does he present when you're trying to play zone coverage against him, especially with the chemistry that he's got with Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I mean, there's a place for all different types of coverages. So I would say I don't think it's a great idea to just sit on one thing against Mahomes, no matter what that is.
Outside of all the rumors, do you want to keep coaching? Is that something you want to continue?
Yeah, I'm getting ready for Kansas City.
Bill, while understanding that you're getting ready for Kansas City, have you and Robert discussed your future beyond the season?
Getting ready for Kansas City.
What continues to make Travis Kelce so dangerous?
You know, he's got a real good feel for how to play, how to get open. He has a great chemistry with Mahomes. A lot of his plays come on extended plays, loose plays. I mean, he certainly gets his share of, run a route, get open, and get the ball. But I would say a lot of his plays don't come like that. It's the play starts, and then something happens, and then he adjusts the route, or Patrick scrambles, and then he finds him. He does a good job of getting open. He's got good size. Even when you cover him, there's a place to throw the ball where the defender can't get it. He's just big and a big catch radius. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's a good runner after the catch. He's strong and stiff arm, and I wouldn't say like elusive, like a slot receiver elusive, but he's a hard guy to tackle because he's big and athletic. So they get him on some design plays, bubble screens, and things like that, where they just almost hand him the ball, and he can make yards with it after the play, like like they do with other players. There's a few of those for him too.
Obviously, did you get a chance to see that lateral play that Kelce made last game? Just what was your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's, they've done that before. Obviously, well, I don't know if that was designed or not. I think it's kind of part of the play. But yeah, you gotta be careful on those situations where the ball's in the middle of the field and a player kind of hangs outside on the sideline. So yeah, that's a good, well executed play. I mean, on Kelce's part of it.
Bill, going back to Ross Douglas for a second, was this the case, where the team let him leave? Like, would you have an opportunity to prevent him from going to another program?
Well, technically, no. It's a college position. It's not an NFL team.
Bill, what made Christian Ellis someone you want to work with?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen him, played against him earlier in the year, kind of followed him through the year. Depth at linebacker is always something I would say you're always looking for. Every team's looking for, especially at this time of year. So, I had an opportunity to get it. So, look forward to working with him.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
And now, great moments in
Patriots Unfiltered.
History.
Well, I have to leave you, gents.
Where are you going?
A tad early to do some of my television responsibilities.
Is that why you got the shiny shirt on today?
I am going. I'm going
clubbing.
Yeah.
Be sure to tune in to Paul Perillo today.
Denny
from 4 to
Terrio.
5.
It's probably not a great one to listen
No,
to today.
don't be sure not to turn.
It'd be like Paulie the Dancing Bear trying to keep himself
you're
out of
gonna
trouble.
navigate.
Oh, we'll be listening.
This will be a tough one. This is one that I always fear when I come in on Thursday morning that Fred's waiting for me. It's like
Yeah.
Jonathan.
We got to walk down to the West Wing.
Jonathan wants to talk to you. So like that's always my fear. I remember I saw Fred at about 2:00 last Thursday. I was like, anybody say anything? He goes, what do you mean? I go, about me. He goes, about what? I go, like being on the radio. No, I go, sounds good. Let's move it along.
You gotta be like the guys on Cut Down Day when they try to avoid the guy.
Yeah.
But with that shirt, Paul, can I make one suggestion? Unbutton one button, put on a Coke spoon. I think you'll be right there.
Yeah,
It's a
good
perfect
call.
shirt for that.
Taking fashion advice
from this guy.
From the Stain Police.
That's another great moment from
Believe it or not, it's officially December, and with the holidays right around the corner, you might be realizing your house needs a holiday spruce. With Bob's Discount Furniture's unbelievable prices and flexible financing on mattresses, furniture, decor, and more, you're sure to impress your guests with comfort and style. Get the ultimate home team advantage with Bob's, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. Talking about fashion, Jack in Ann Arbor writes in, modeling his fashion chops in the spirit of the cold holiday season weather, Fred has gone Maine Cabin Masters chic by rocking a handsome plaid flannel shirt.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the rest of the PU team is wearing stretched out sweatshirts.
What?
This has to be the first time that Fred has out-fashioned the rest of the PU team. Bravo to Fred. Shame on the rest of the PU fashion slackers.
Me and Paul are playing the hits here, the quarter zip.
I wear a
this
quarter
is-
zip.
This is what
I would
do.
say 4 out of 5 days every week.
I know.
Alex has a sweater.
This is a
Yeah, I
Brandy
think
Melville
Evan's-
sweater.
Oh,
so
wow.
And you
know,
have
my
a flannel
style
that
white
you have been
t-shirt.
wearing more of lately.
Well, it's
No
cold.
stains either. I don't see any stains.
Our
We got a
office
couple-
is cold.
couple
right?
versions of
Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's cold.
What?
Our office is cold.
Oh, yeah.
People have been known to
Yeah.
keep blankets at
Yeah,
their desks
I'm
for the
usually
winter.
a
Some,
t-shirt
some of us
guy.
have a heater underneath.
Yeah. But, Paul, at least you're not wearing the
Courtesy
hood.
of Matt Morrell.
The hoodies?
Yeah.
The hoodies?
The hoodie shirts.
Like a light.
Yeah, the light hoodie.
Like the
I like
Army
hoodies.
Navy shirt they gave us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like hoodie sweatshirts.
Because
You know I'm the only one in the building that didn't
Paul,
get it, right?
I was not in that day. I had a community event where they gave them out, so I
So
reached
where do you
out.
go?
I reached out
To who?
the woman at the front desk that sent the original email. I don't know who she is, but I
See, that
said,
was the
hey,
problem.
I wasn't here today. Can
I
I
knew
get
there was
one?"
something. That was the problem. I didn't know who the emailer.
All right.
Like, I
That's
didn't know,
all right.
so I didn't feel comfortable.
We got you a
doing
little
that.
something this week. You look good, right? You got a little something.
That
Did they
wasn't
give
for
you
me.
the token?
No, God, no.
Oh, you didn't get a token?
Oh, you don't get any of the stuff.
Go up to
We
the
don't
break
get
room.
you don't get
There's a
anything
bunch
downstairs.
of
Yeah, I saw that. They had like the little
all the-
banners.
a flag too.
They were like, "Oh, you guys, there's
Yeah.
like
Rally
Army Navy
towel.
stuff," and I was like, "Oh, I can get a
I know.
shirt."
I thought there was
I
going
go
to be
in,
clothes.
nothing.
I ran. Nope. A towel.
I did.
didn't
I
get a
checked it
towel.
out after the meeting yesterday. What? You don't have anything?
No, you cut me off. I was talking about your hood.
Yeah. No, I thought I know where.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does
He's
anybody
sitting
who
here
listens to
dabbing
this
his
show
fingers like
not
pissed.
know exactly the shirt you're talking about? Because you've never brought it up before, including at the meeting yesterday when I wasn't even wearing it.
But, I just don't think that people should be wearing those unless you're a long-distance runner and you're actually running.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird thing because it's like, do you need to keep it warm or not? Like, if
No
your
one
hoodie,
puts
like,
the
you
hood
know,
up.
No,
No
not
one
with
puts
the
the
thin
hood up.
one. Not
I
with
don't-
the thin
but I
one.
don't-
You look like
ev-
a member of Blue Man Crew if you put the hood up.
Blue Man
How
Crew.
well, Fred, how do you feel about short
Not to
sleeve
be
hoodies?
confused with Two
short
Live
sleeve
Crew.
hoodies.
I don't like those either.
Yeah. I mean,
What-
I was having a conversation.
Regular
with
hoodie, right?
Regular hoodie's good.
Do you
Regular
wear the
hoodie-
hood?
Classic.
up.
If it's
not unless
cold.
I'm very chilly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know why you would ever wear the hood.
But I think
I
I
love
talked
putting
to.
the hood
What are
up,
you talking
pulling the
about?
straps,
I had one
Do you
on this
really?
morning.
Yeah.
It was
All right.
cold.
Cocooning myself.
Walk
So
in
you
the dog,
would
I
use
put
the
the hood
hood
up.
on my shirt.
Well, not the shirt one because it doesn't have the drawstring. Like,
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
but it
kinda
has a
Fred
zipper.
on
It's
this.
It's just
Same
kind of
thing.
loose. You look like a Jedi or something. I talked to Chris Price though. We Bill Belichick started the short sleeve hoodie. Like, I mean, I know he cut it off, but like, did you ever see short sleeve hoodie? Like, this doesn't even really make
No.
sense
Only
logically.
with like meatheads in the gym.
Yeah, like
Short sleeve
Yeah.
hoodie.
Gymshark guys love
No.
the
cut the
cutoff
sleeves off. Does
sweatshirt
TJ
in
have
the
a
gym.
sleeveless hoodie with a hood but no arms? That seems like he'd be like lifting in that. And, like, he'd get his sweat on and.
His pump cover. Yeah, he does.
Pump cover?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
I'm not sure. I'm not willing to say that. I'm just telling you that my psychotic son
Does
calls
he wear
them pump
cutoff
covers.
shirts, but the cutoff goes down to like his obliques?
He does not.
Oh.
He does not.
No, he's a lineman. He's a
that,
lineman.
Alex, my friend, is an everything. Bum equipment.
Oh, bum equipment.
You know, with the tank tops with like the strings they're not even straps, they're like strings. Like, just dude, I know you don't want to wear a shirt. Listen, you're in great shape. Love you, mean it.
Right.
Just take the shirt off. Who are you fooling?
Like they're just
I
barely-
get it. You want to show
like
everybody
over the
how
nipples.
buff you are.
No.
I'm VIP on Swole. I get it, bro. Just put a shirt on.
Never had that problem. Never
Just
had
put
that
a shirt.
problem.
Well, me neither. But just put a shirt on. That's all I ask. Is that asking too much, Fred? Wear a shirt?
No. And cameras should be banned from the gym.
Oh, well, like
Yes.
like people talking and
Oh
they're
my
doing like
God.
things. Does that happen?
Okay, Paul knows my gripes with the woman on the phone in the sauna.
Here we go, Paul.
I complained about this on the show months ago.
Phones absolutely should not be allowed in
How
the
about
sauna.
tripod girl filming herself in the sauna,
Oh,
asking people not to step in?
Oh, I would step in every time.
Oh,
The sauna's like 8 by 8.
You got to be
Oh, you
kidding
know
me.
what my answer to that would be.
Yeah.
And what's she
Go
doing?
F yourself.
I'm gonna get
Correct.
kicked out of the Springfield.
It's really
Valley
hot here
Fitness
in
one
the
day and
sauna.
have my membership
Wait, someone
revoked.
actually sets a tripod up
These.
in a sauna?
I'm not even gonna blame it only on women, but like the influencer girlies that have their tripod everywhere they go. I watched a girl set up a tripod outside of Target. She walked into the Target. She walked out of the Target, got her tripod. She walks inside, puts her tripod
Give her
down,
footage.
walks back out, walks in for the.
It's a
she's
shoot.
taking
But
You're
at
going to
least it's
Target.
not a place
She's
where people are
taking
wearing,
B-roll of
very
herself
little
all
clothing.
day.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well,
that's
that too.
inappropriate in
And
a
also,
sauna,
like,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
want to be in the background of your workout video that's going on your TikTok.
Right.
Oh.
It's just
you got to go and pick your nose or something.
Oh,
and
it's
ruin
terrible.
Yeah, like you pick a wedgie or
Right.
you can't get
Just
a
fart
full
on her.
lift
Yeah,
and you're
fart right
trying
on
to
her.
max out. It doesn't work. That's
Selfie
embarrassing.
generation.
Fred's not happy
Nope.
right now.
Little listener on listener crime here.
Uh-oh.
Burton Island. I'd like to second the notion or motion by Joe and Walpole. Most callers suck. There
Joe,
are a
oh,
few
yeah.
select exceptions like Eldred. Spee is okay, I guess. But most callers suck. When Willem and Philem gets on, that's when I start fast forwarding.
Wow.
Listening to Fred read emails is better, which, by the way, Fred, you should give lessons to Hardy, who seems to think that an email needs to be read like he's acting in a stage production. That's him making fun of me.
If you don't like the callers, then call
Correct.
in. Like the people that call in, like they call in. Like if you don't like it, then do it yourself and call in with a good call. Like the people that call in, they support the show. They give us stuff to talk about.
We love all our
We
listeners.
love all. Evan's back in a 3/4 zip.
Evan has returned from practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
All right. What's up, Evan?
It's a quarter zip, not a 3/4 zip.
Oh, that's true.
But anyways,
I call them quarter zips, but a lot of people
to-
do call them three.
I-
Well,
I
3/4 of the way up.
Yeah.
Be 3/4
or
not
it's
zip.
the quarter down.
Well,
It could be argued both
it
ways.
all depends on your perspective.
It's just all
You've got about
semantics.
half of the
I
quarter.
All
agree.
semantics.
You've got about an eighth zip though right now because you've only got half.
Are you
of
looking
the
up or
quarter,
looking
so.
down?
It's a little chilly out there. I'll tell you, dude. It's a little cold. Hands are a little
It's a
freezing.
long zipper too.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Anyways, I digress. The Patriots back on the practice field on Wednesday for Chiefs Week. And some good news, I think, for people that are just looking for some players to pop.
Oh, there you go, Mike. You got your guy back.
Sorry,
I hope he does
Paul.
not get popped.
Wah, wah.
I'm going to be
Right.
concerned about that. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie.
So Demario Douglas was back at Patriots practice today. If you didn't get my awesome pun that I just dropped in there, so he was back. The only player absent from the 53-man roster was Ramondre Stevenson. Remains out with that ankle injury. That's not that surprising, but everybody else was there. Lengthy list though of practice squad. A lot of practice squad movement. Obviously Malik Cunningham going
3
to
open spots, I think.
Baltimore. Calvin Munson also off the practice squad.
Where'd he go?
Miami.
Mike-
Active. That guy's
Wow.
just been going back and forth between Miami
Yeah.
and Boston for like 5 years.
I would
it's
want to
a
go to Miami right
easy
now
flight.
too. So I guess Michael Wright at some point was poached off the practice squad too. He wasn't there, and
Not the Mike Wright.
No.
no, the kicker, and Tristan Hill, who we don't know could just be sick, absent
Yeah.
for some reason.
They
But
don't
he's
tell
also so 4 guys not missing from the practice squad. Now I know some of those are explained obviously, but
I knew they had at least 3 spots right now based
Yeah.
on all. I think
Yeah.
right. They
So
cut
Booty
right.
and Douglas back.
yes, Booty was there for most of last week, if not all of last week, and Devontae Parker has also been practicing,
Just didn't play.
but just didn't play. So Pop was technically the only one that returned, but all those guys being back again and still practicing, I guess, is a good sign. But like I said, I think we all just would like to see.
We're gearing up for a shootout.
I just think we all like to see Demario Douglas, assuming he's healthy and has clear protocol, because that's a young player that might bring some excitement to the team and might be a part of the future of the team. And it's been kind of a bummer that we haven't been able to watch him develop and play the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff.
There we go.
Now, I've got 43 degrees on my watch. How did it feel out there?
It's cold. It's cold. Yeah, I would say it feels colder than 43 because of the
Windy?
wind. But when it's not windy, it was sunny, and it was, for Boston this time of year, it was relatively warm. But the wind was pretty bad.
Was Tom Curran there?
He was not.
Was
No.
there a lot of talk about that?
There was more talk about, first I get ambushed about Joe Alt declaring for the draft, and Joe Alt's Marvin Harrison Jr.
Who ambushed you, Evan?
Yeah, here we go. You know who?
Was it Alex Barth, maybe?
It was
Evan.
It was
the bartender.
It was Alex and the interns, and I just get ambushed by that, and then
You're so mean.
And then
Well, did you see what they did to him on 98.5?
Alex?
what?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
I guess I don't know. He was doing a solo show, I think.
Yeah.
And so he decided he's going to call himself
the
bartender.
Oh, this was
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
That
was really bad.
People can call in and ask any question they want. And I'm the
boy.
bartender, and I'm gonna
serve it up.
talk to them, and I don't know if they were punking him or something. One guy called
Absolutely
up, hey,
were.
I really want to come out to my family that I'm gay, but I'm having Bob's like, whoa,
I didn't sign up for this.
That's like that's kind of like a serious. I mean, maybe
anything
you want
with
to talk
college
to a
football?
counselor. Or,
I'm not equipped to deal with that.
So it
So I think the bartender
kind of
was
backfired a little bit.
Tabled.
I don't think that Jess and I have ever laughed so hard at a piece of radio than that, because I as well as I know Alex, I know how uncomfortable he was in that moment, and it was
That was funny.
That was hilarious.
I heard
Absolutely
Fred
hilarious.
played it the next morning. I
Yeah.
guess after it happened, that's how I got on my radar.
Yeah,
I was
so
just
they
dying.
played it the next morning, and
Oh,
then,
they
and
kept clipping it? Oh, man.
And then the higher ups quickly put a kibosh on,
Yeah.
and it was. Now that when Alex hosts shows, he's never allowed to do that again. Not that it was his fault, but obviously.
Oh,
No,
you can do it. You just got to lean in.
Right.
It's a neat idea.
You gotta
like
lean
the
in.
bartender.
I mean,
Screen the call
just
a
like
little
you get real serious and you be honest
Yeah.
about what you think.
You're like
and-
Frasier.
Look,
I'm
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Your parents will love you no matter what.
Right? Will they? I mean, you don't know though. You can't it's hard to say things like that because you don't know what the person's situation is.
But
Like,
maybe it's
what
true.
if their parents are hate that stuff? Like, I
Right.
don't know.
There
Send
was
you to
one
a camp.
item of grousing though.
Oh,
This was
okay.
legitimate grouse.
Grousing.
So they printed the rosters differently
Oh, God.
today.
Oh, change.
We can't cross it off.
One thing the media doesn't like is change to their routine.
So the numerical was on the left and the
it
alphabetical was on the right.
It was just there was no numeric. It was all one big column.
Oh.
And they blew it up so that everything was really, really big. And so it made it taking attendance harder. And when I kid you not, multiple people went out to Jess and PR and said, we got to go back to the other way.
Poor Jess.
And it was multiple people. And so, of course, yeah.
A lot of harumping.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
She threw Aaron under the bus, rightfully so, because
Oh.
everything's Aaron's
Here we
fault.
go.
So, yeah.
Here we go.
But it's not
It's
Jess's
just-
fault.
No, of
it's
course
just-
Intern's not making the decision.
It's just amazing that people would actually grouse, to use Fred's word, about that.
I got to be honest with you.
Well, it's different.
It was annoying.
Yeah,
I was like,
I can
don't
see
like
that.
this. Like, please.
I
Was
was
it by
thrown off.
alphabetical order?
No, it was still numerical, but usually there's an alphabetical column
Yeah.
and there's a numerical column. The numerical column is really nice and thin
Right, makes
down
it
the
very
side,
easy.
and you can just fold the page over and
Yep.
go. This is it was one big middle column of just numerical.
Was it the same stock?
Yeah, no,
Eight
it
four,
wasn't-
size
Someone tells me
8'4".
Aaron did it by accident.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
It wasn't the paper.
They
It
are
was just
changing things up,
the-
though. They changed the way
format.
they do the clips, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
So I have
don't
a
like
it.
I have
I
a
don't
question
like
for
that
you.
either.
I gotta log in everything.
I don't.
I know.
Well, okay. I can't log in.
No, I
People
can't.
don't know what
You
you're
can't
talking about.
either?
Wait, wait,
You
wait.
can because
Wait. People don't know what you're talking about, so you have to explain what
Okay,
clips
so
are.
we've had clips provided by
Newspaper clips.
Media Relations Department since I've been here, 1999. They used to be paper copies. Now they're all electronic. And they used to just give you all the stories. You would scroll in one document. All the stories would be there.
PDF.
all the
Recently,
major local news outlets.
about, I would say, a month and a half ago, would you guys say?
Sure.
They changed to a links format where each outlet would have a header, ESPN Boston, and then they would have maybe 2 or 3 links that appeared. And it's all Patriots-related content, obviously. So you have to click on the link, which I have no problem with. But the ones that are pay, they provided a login for that I cannot use. What am I doing
the
wrong?
login doesn't work for you.
Does not use.
Okay.
Does not work.
I thought
There's
I
only
had an
one
answer
I've
to your
tried,
issue.
and
I
it
do
didn't
not.
work. No.
What was
I'm not a
the
big
issue?
regional
you
I was
think
going to
had?
say, did you miss the login info?
No.
The login info
No.
on the header of the page.
No,
it
and
says
Because I did.
No, it
Stacey,
says
and I
it.
complained
Stacey
to
James
Alex.
is the media relations director, and he provides his login for it, and it doesn't work for me.
Well, maybe there's a limit to how many people can log in.
I don't know.
That could be
in
the
all,
case.
In all seriousness, and I'm not
Like with the
just-
Athletic, they might have that up on like not a firewall.
Well,
but
I,
a proper
that's not one I've
terminology.
ever tried to get on, but I have tried to
Does the
get
Herald
on
work?
the Herald, and I can't do it.
Yeah, the Herald doesn't
Can't
work for
get
me
on
either.
our buddy Greg.
BSJ.
Yeah, BSJ.
For BSJ, I can't get on any of them.
It's a thankless job to get those clips together. We used to have a personnel guy here who will go nameless, who insisted that, I'm on the treadmill at 6 a.m. and I want the clips ready.
So
for
there
me
was
at
one
6 a.m.
famous day. Now, and I won't.
Jeez.
I'm not going to use the football side of it.
Yeah.
But Andy was.
Oh, I think I've heard
Jess
this one.
Back in the year 2000, Andy Hart. He was the media relations seasonal intern, and he was responsible for getting the clips. And it was just like Fred said, like this is like kind of even before really, everybody knowing exactly how to do it online. Like you had some of the times you had to actually get the actual clip of the paper and make a photocopy. And Andy's like making copies of the thing, and the Xerox is like going crazy. The paper jam, and it's just like load PC letter. It's like all of these stereotypes all in one. Andy is like
have no idea what he's talking about.
He's got doors open on the Xerox. He's got like ink stains on his face. He's all flustered. He's sweating. It's like 6:10, and he gets this comment from the guy that Fred just alluded to. We're gonna get clips at any point today, and Andy. Andy has that jaw that juts out, and it's just like. Yeah. And like literally every lever of this, think about like printers now. They're all kind of streamlined.
Imagine
they
what's a
used to be
printer.
these behemoths. You guys, you have a printer in your area.
And it's not been working.
I never use it.
It's not working anymore?
I had to put a ticket in today.
Did you really?
Fascinating.
The printer in
I have to
DFW?
send everything to Matisse to print out.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't connect to the printer?
No.
Have you ever tried?
You can
I've had
connect to the
IT
printer in the mailroom.
Have you ever tried to connect to the printer?
I have, and the IT
This is in the running
guys
for the
told
most
me,
boring
you
segment."
have the worst computer in this whole organization. I can't figure this out. So
But
I said,
it-
honestly, don't worry
Printers
about
Unfiltered.
I thought
Send it to Matisse.
Andy has told that story many times, and he says, I thought for sure that my career in the NFL was going to be very, very brief.
Yeah.
Because he did want to fight the person that
That's
was
funny.
looking for the.
And while I'm excited about my future at Dighton Rehoboth.
That was the first time he left.
when I hear the word printer, I think of 3 letters PDF.
Yeah.
They're really good, and you never have to print a thing.
Good for you, Evan.
Why? I don't understand.
You can just read
You
it.
convert it. You print to PDF, and it create. But at some point, if you want a paper copy, you got to print it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you
Well,
don't
what
want
do
a
I need a
paper
paper
copy,
copy?
that's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Some
need
people-
hard copies
Yeah,
for things.
the feel of it, the schmeel
Yeah,
of
I
it.
don't print out a whole lot, but I do print out the game books.
There you go. I do too.
It's just
Handy
I
reference.
I like to have it. I don't want to look on a phone.
Go to a website.
I feel like, and this is not a shot. Like I just.
Oh, it feels like a shot.
No, I just.
Oh,
like,
no, that's fine. You can take shots.
No, I
I'm old
just
school.
like I didn't grow up that way because I grew up with
With paper?
everything in on computers and stuff like that.
Aren't you older
So-
than me? How
so-
did I use a printer my whole life? And you
Well, I
didn't?
use printers, but like for school stuff. But like I've been like I feel like I just grew up in a time where I just read everything on my phone, and that's how I in your.
I will say though,
routine is
Evan,
to go
you
with
like
paper.
also write on your phone, and you'll just
Yeah.
like be sitting there
Like,
on
I
like
think
a
that's
plane.
insane. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
literally think you
He can do
writing
it.
right into
Yeah.
the system
Into
to
pocket.
me is insane.
I do some of my best work on my phone.
Oh my god.
I do some
Paul
of my
writes
best work
this out
that
on
way.
a yellow line pad first, and then he
Well, he has
types
his
it in.
secretary
You should
type
always-
it up for him.
Fred, you
gotta
should
use a
always write in
Google Doc.
drafts.
You got to do a Google Doc. You'll get screwed by Pocket.
I haven't yet.
Well,
but I almost have.
So you guys all do Google Docs?
Yes.
I hate those too.
Well, I do
Hate
Google
'em.
Docs because I can. If you are on a Google Doc, then you can get it anywhere. So I can get it on my phone or I can get it on my computer. So because I write on my phone sometimes, it helps.
I would never have a
People are
need
like,
to write on my
"What
phone.
are they talking
Printers
about?"
I know,
Printers
I know,
Unfiltered. Let's
I
go.
know. We-
I just use Word, but I wouldn't get it on my phone. But I have no desire to ever read anything on this.
Art in Claymont says, "Hello, group.
Hello.
I see a young woman in your group who is not Megan or Tamara. Who is she?"
Oh,
Okay,
you don't
all right,
only the
all
leader
right,
of the
all
picks
right.
contest.
You don't watch a lot, but that's Alex.
Also, let's calm down.
Yeah.
Relax.
How
my
much
first
is she
show.
dominating by? How was this
my
week go?
first
I
show
didn't.
today.
I didn't have my picks with me, so I have no idea how I did.
haven't calculated it this
Ah,
week yet.
How convenient.
This week was a bad week.
You got a big
Yeah,
lead
I
though.
don't- Yeah.
I need it.
You know what you get for winning this thing?
Bragging rights?
Yeah, no, nothing. Not
We're
even that,
almost to
really.
the point where really she can't be caught because there's not enough games that you're going to be different in.
Gotta get her a
Yeah.
crown or something.
It's hard. Unless you
Sash?
pull a Hardy. You could like Hardy could catch her because Hardy would wait every game that you pick. He would just pick the opposite.
Yeah, but then
No, but he would
you're,
roll.
You're assuming she's going to be wrong.
But he would
Yeah.
roll the dice.
Yeah.
Like most people pick it straight.
Right.
And how many games are we going to have different?
Right. Is Hardy taking over that morning show?
He was on Monday and Tuesday. Today there was your girl.
Yeah.
Kendra Middleton was on.
Did you listen?
I'm worried for Hardy.
I did not. They were in a conversation that I was like, that, yeah, gone.
I listened for a little bit. She watches every game twice.
Okay.
You know,
So
you
does-
know I have
so
to
does
roll
Evan.
my eyes at that.
So does Evan.
Alex in Mount Holly writes in, just wanted to add in my 2 cents on the current news about Bill. I knew it was just speculation when there was no PU emergency podcast. Right. I only trust you to break news of that stature. Also, I'm fine with winning a few more games just as long as we stay in the top 10 and pick either a tackle or Jaden Daniels. We're on to Kansas City. Let's go win a rock fight this weekend.
When was the
God
last
love Patriots
PU
fans.
emergency podcast? I feel like it
I
might have
think
been
when-
Cam Newton.
I think it was when we had the big free agent haul.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't here, but didn't you guys do one for one of the free agent signings this year? I feel like
Juju?
who was it?
Would
Bill
it have-
O'Brien. Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien?
Did
Maybe.
we?
I think so.
I think we did do
Or we
one
just
for
come
Bill
down
O'Brien.
here and do a quick.
Yeah,
you
we
guys
did it
were
down in
in
the
In
studio.
the studio. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
was I there?
I think
well,
so.
we wouldn't do it without you,
No.
Fred.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
We
even
might have
think-
to dust them off for this
I wouldn't
year.
even think about it.
Feels like.
Deuce and I are just gonna live here
Yeah,
because
right.
it's gonna.
Oh,
Ray in Pennsylvania, how do you feel about Sean Payton as coach of the year? Denver was left for dead after the 70-point beatdown, and he has them back in contention.
Done
And
a good
P.S.
job.
Does Alex know that picks are tomorrow? She does.
she'll be
I
back.
do.
You get double Alex.
Peyton's done a good job.
Yeah,
Sean
he does.
Payton.
Let's see how it finishes. I'm curious to watch that game on Christmas Eve.
Their defense. Has
You
been
have to be
carrying
the
them,
only
though.
person in New England that's curious to watch these games.
I got to make something out of it, Paul.
You see, this
We're gonna be
Saturday
here.
slate's terrible.
Yes.
This
The Saturday
there's
slate.
One
3
good
bad
game.
ones.
The Saturday night game's okay, right?
Did I miss it?
But it's bad on the whole. But I think Saturday night is at least I think it might be Denver. I think Denver might be playing. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Broncos.
Yeah, 3 Saturday games. But
Broncos Lions. That's an okay game.
Oh, okay.
I do like when
It's
this
not-
time of year arrives
not
and the
terrible.
Saturday games start coming and you get a little
too.
bit more football spread out. I like it
as well.
As long as I'm not, if we have a game, like if I would be bummed out if that game stayed on Monday, because that would have affected my red zone.
How's it
slate.
going to work with the college football playoff when they expand it for a couple more weeks? And I mean that might eat into these NFL games a little bit.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean it depends when they have the games.
Probably in conjunction, but that might be pretty cool.
Like, do they put them right in like last Saturday? Would there have been a slate of playoff games? That wouldn't affect anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shady in Houston, I find it hilarious.
Wasn't me.
Evan, of all people, thinks Purdy is a product of the system while he sat on his high horse telling everyone Mac Jones could be a top 15 quarterback because he used to throw 3-yard passes to Devontae Smith and Waddle, who took it 80 yards to the house. We've seen how their offense looked with Jimmy G, and it's not remotely the same. No one slandered Mahomes when he had Tyreek Hill and Kelsey inflating his stats in 2018, Evan and his metrics are the lamest introduction to football. No one cares about EPA and QBR. Just watch the game.
It's true because I never watched the game, Fred.
Yeah.
Twice. I never. Not once have I ever watched a football game in my life. So
Well.
that's a good point. I can't fight back on that.
Ellen, Wisconsin. So since Evan hates quarterbacks with good talent and coaching, he should love Zappy since he has neither.
Wow, lots of emails about this.
Wow.
You need a Macaulite version of the Purdy. Like,
I'm
what's
also
the
just
Macaulite
like,
version
at
for the
this
Purdy?
point, it's just kind of a bit with me and Brock Purdy. Like,
you got to lean into it.
It's not that serious, but the first email, like, yeah, that's always been my whole point with Mac Jones. It's like, yeah, I think if you had him surrounded by the talent that Brock Purdy has, he'd look better. Shocker.
But you'd be similarly railing that Mac Jones is not the MVP if he was surrounded
correct.
with these kind of guys.
Yes, just like I don't think that Purdy's the MVP and Tua's not the MVP and all those types of guys.
Joel in San Antonio. First, thank you for all you do for us faithful Patriots fans. I have a couple of thoughts looking ahead at the draft. Jaden Daniels' stock is probably skyrocketing now that he won the Heisman. That being said, could there be a scenario or path where we could potentially trade down from number 2, assuming that's where we end up, and be able to pick Daniels and a top-tier wide receiver in the first round? Kind of what the Texans did, just not in the top 5. Or do you all think that this would be an impossibility now that he's a Heisman winner? There's something about that kid that makes me think he's going to be really, really good. Would like to hear your thoughts.
Then just
about
draft him. Just draft him, right? Like, this is the thing. Like, this
That's
is what Paul.
usually your thing.
But no, this is it, right? Like, just if you love him that much, then draft him and look at. They're gonna. They might have the 34th overall pick. So, there's not that much difference to go from I don't know what you're pitching, like 34 up to 25. Like, there are good receivers available in the second round.
It's a really good receiver draft. I would also say that the Texans had both picks.
Yeah.
They didn't trade for a first round pick they came into the draft with 2 first round picks.
All right. You say it's a really good you said receiver draft?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
you said quarterback.
It's also a really good quarterback
Okay.
draft.
So
I knew
Basi-
that's what he wanted.
You should probably watch the game.
compared
I
to what?
never do.
Like, are you lowering the bar?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that in this class, there's 5 quarterbacks that are probably top 40 guys, if you include Bo Nix in the conversation with the rest of them.
Would you have said that 3 years ago when Mac was drafted?
It's a good question. I was trying to think about this yesterday a little bit because, like, the Bears with Justin Fields, I think, are in a really tough spot because in this draft class, and I haven't done, like, full deep dives into all of the quarterbacks yet, but in this draft class, if you were to put Ohio State Justin Fields into this class, he's probably at worst the second or third quarterback.
So what are we saying then?
But I think you comp him out too to like Trey Lance had played like 1 season. You had COVID.
Yeah. I didn't like Wilson. I didn't like
Zach
Lance,
Wilson
and I
only
didn't
had
like
a
Jones.
year. I mean,
Yeah.
The
you
other
have
2 I liked.
You have 3
Fields
of the,
I missed.
Right, you had 3
so
of the
far.
top 5 guys were very small sample sizes, and I don't think that's really what you have this year. You have a lot of guys.
I don't
with
think you're going to have that again in general. I think that because of
COVID,
because of the transfer portal and all
Yeah.
that, these guys are staying in college for 6 years. I think the one big thing that's also made it difficult is because of the transfer portal. Everybody's got an all-star team. Like, everybody's throwing to a bunch of studs. Like, everyone, you could make the Mac Jones argument for pretty much everybody besides Drake May in this class. Like, everybody, and even Drake May has Tez Walker, who's going to be a top 50, top 75 receiver. But in general, like, Michael Penix is surrounded by a great team at Washington. You know, Caleb Williams is at USC. He's been around 5-star talent his whole career there.
Yep.
In terms of, Bo Nix at Oregon, Troy Franklin's going to be a first-round pick, his top receiver. So you look at all these quarterbacks, and I think that that's going to be tough for people is separating, that sort of thing. And I would say that this quarterback class is better than last year's. I think they're more sure things than last year's. Like last year, you had Young and you had Stroud, but a guy like Anthony Richardson is like a second-round pick in this class to me.
Okay.
But
all right, that's good. I need that comp.
There you go.
Dean in Scottsdale, the notion that quarterbacks have to be runners is, in my opinion, overblown. We've been hearing that for
Can I just stop it for a second? You can continue.
Yeah.
I don't, and speaking for myself, but I think you guys agree, I don't think anybody thinks they need to be runners. They need to be
Athletes.
mobile.
Yeah, they need to
This-
be
that's
able
not-
to extend
that's not the
play.
same thing.
We've been hearing that for 20-plus years. Here's a partial list of quarterbacks not known for their mobility who could still be very effective. Tom Brady, okay.
He wasn't effective the last year he played. But go ahead.
Matt Stafford, Joe Flacco, Kirk Cousins, Tua Tagovailoa.
Joe Flacco has been. I'm the president of the Joe Flacco fan club. He hasn't been effective in 10 years.
Kirk Cousins, Tua, Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, and Brock Purdy.
Yeah, most of those guys are mobile.
Yeah,
that he just made.
Stafford's definitely mobile.
Stafford's mobile. Now he's old now, but he was very mobile. Not a runner, but mobile. Tua definitely mobile. Jared Goff mobile, makes a lot of throws outside the pocket. Brock Purdy is really mobile.
Really mobile, Evan.
But he's fantastic. That's
I
what I've
didn't.
heard.
I didn't say he's like running around.
No,
I didn't say he's
I know.
Mahomes.
I know.
I'm talking about mobility. These guys are not pocket passers.
Right.
I think that when you're watching a lot of these guys in the draft, like a caller had called in about Drake May, and I had watched a little bit of him this week. And I think the biggest thing that you look at is like, who are the guys? So I think everybody in New England needs to like recalibrate one thing, and that is throwing off your back foot isn't bad for everybody, right? Like some people can
the Drake make
right. Some people
got a
can
big
throw off
arm.
their back foot because of their arm, and some people like Mac Jones can't throw off his back foot. So a lot of these guys now can succeed off platform, whether that's running or that's off their back foot because there's pressure in the pocket, and they have that kind of arm talent and that kind of just athleticism. And I think that trait, because of how good pass rushers are around the league now, you have to be able to survive when the conditions aren't perfect.
There are
And if
very
you can't,
few.
It's tough to do.
There are very few quarterbacks, I think, that are actual runners. Like Lamar Jackson's a runner. Josh Allen is a runner.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put Patrick
Hurts.
Mahomes in the run. Yeah,
Nope.
Jalen Hurts, absolutely. I wouldn't put like Patrick Mahomes in the runner category. Now he runs,
Right.
and he's mobile.
Yeah.
But they don't like, to me, a runner is, I'm going to design this play as a zone read with the thought that you're going to keep it.
Right.
It's an intentional quarterback run.
Yeah.
And
And
there's only a handful of guys that do that.
And most of them have had this storyline of they need to learn how to pass, like Lamar,
Right.
Josh Allen. I mean, all those guys where they need to learn how to be in the pocket and not immediately, if the first guy isn't open, tuck it and go.
That's
Right.
Jaden Daniels.
but
Like
you-
that's,
you've been
that's
talking-
my only concern with him is like Jaden Daniels against Alabama. You know, that's another thing is like you got to watch him against the top competition. I'm trying to do that more because
Through the Florida State game, they shut him down.
What Jaden Daniels does against Georgia State does nothing for me, right? Like Florida State, Alabama against Alabama. Alabama played a lot of match coverage in that game, and he just took off. He would just run, and he ran for like 200 yards in the game. Like it was something ridiculous. But is that a sustainable way to live in the NFL? If something isn't there initially and you're just taking off all the time, you know, that I think is something to look at.
Wrapping up the email, it says, does speed and elusiveness help? Of course, but offensive system knowledge of the offense, experience, pocket awareness, and quick decision-making are equally important. Who says it's not? Thanks, love the show and the fact that you all are allowed to speak freely. What did we say?
I hope not too freely,
Yeah.
but thank you. I like the email. I would disagree a little bit with what you feel is mobility and not. I think a lot of those guys, Joe Flacco, the first 5-8 years of his career was pretty mobile. He could run a little bit, but not a designed run. It's not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Now, like, he went to Denver, was nothing. He went to the Jets, was nothing. He's bounced around the league to a bunch of different teams. He had a couple of good games the last 2 weeks.
It was nice. It was kind of fun watching.
I
him.
like
Yeah,
Flacco.
it's cool, like just how
I like Flacco. You can't.
He's appreciating it.
I'm gonna tell when he keeps playing, it will go back to Flacco. He's had a Flacco pick in both of those games, by the way.
Let's see. Go to Brazil.
There we go.
Josie or Jose?
Jose.
Jose.
Olá, José.
J-O-S-I.
Oh, never
Josie.
mind. If it's J-O-S-E, that's Jose.
No, J-O-S-I, according to
Yossi.
He's from Brazil.
Roman.
He says, I'm very happy
Good,
that the
Mike.
NFL is coming to Brazil. There's a huge following here.
There you go.
Just for context, ESPN Brazil broadcasts 7 games every week, including Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. And Patriots in particular are very popular here.
7 games
that.
each week?
Yep.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to
You're-
Brazil.
You're right,
Sao
Alex.
Paulo.
That's a big. That's
know.
if they have that many
It's a
games
big country down there.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but I didn't realize they were that into the NFL.
All right.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
They just love sport.
Wait,
feeling
what do we
the
got?
ropes
We
with
got
this,
John Rook in the
pick
playbook coming
lead.
up?
Yes.
Okay. John Rook in the playbook's coming up. Talk a lot of Providence College Friars. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday. Alex, will you join us?
I will.
Oh, I can't wait.
2 shows
All
in
right.
1 week.
I know.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast. Thank you.